Afternoon, wherever you're watching around the world. Welcome, my friends. It is time for the NA version of our Delta Force Throwdown. My name's Adam Thornton, I'm Toffees. This is Adam Thornton, Lawler, as you may know, and we're going to get into the operations here real soon. It was a crazy day during EU operations. Are you excited about North America action?
Oh, man. After watching Europe this morning, I am Stephen Pierce, also known as Toffees. We're going to be switching identities this day, but... no, man, you and I know we're kind of lurking pretty heavily in chat. Maybe you were a bit more active than I was, but the ability to really showcase and see what this competitive game mode can really become, I think was really enticing. So without too many spoilers, I'm going to take a step back so we can focus on what's at hand today.
Yeah, we're going to run through everything that you guys need to know, plans for the day, what to expect, what the schedule looks like. If you were tuned in this morning, you already have a rough idea of it. But what I can tell you right now is it is going to be 4 days of action, right? We've got EU and NA once going on each day. We do operations now, we do Warzone tomorrow, back to operation. It's just consistently chaotic, and that's what I love about this game. This morning was chaotic. If you watched EU, some teams definitely, I would say, built a meta to a certain extent, Adam. Like, this is the first time we've ever done esports for this, so a meta does not technically exist.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be that evolution, because I think you and I know historically that there is different styles and different metas that are built. That also applies to different regions. What NA's focus is going to be, I'm very excited and very enticed to find out with everybody who's joining us in chat. Obviously, everybody, I know wherever you're from in the world, it might be early, it might be late, but we appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in and hang out with us. So again, I think we get to experience this together as a collective. I think it is a learning process for all of us, which I'm excited to really sink my teeth into what this may become. So Toffees, let's take them away and tell them what we got going on today.
All right, let's talk about the prize pool. Let's talk about everything that is on the line for this one, as well as the tournament rules. We're in the semifinals right now. For operations, we're going to have 5 groups of 6. They will all play. We're going to cover 4 of those groups today during the games. The top one from each of those groups advances to the grand final in 2 days' time to join an invited team, which we won't reveal just yet, and play for their share of that reward. So $3,000 for first prize. It goes down from there, and then the most kills player reward is specifically for that player. It's just extra $200, which actually shakes things up a little bit, Adam, because at EU we saw kills weren't the primary mindset of these players, but there is some cash on the line for it.
Yeah, 100%. I think we saw, obviously, there's a lot of teams like NGNL got a lot of love from Blank for obvious reasons. If you guys don't know his reference, you should look into that. But yeah, shout out to the guys who covered it earlier this morning. But primarily, we did see, like you said, for extraction in operation, a lot of focus on getting those points that way. But the reality was we had some teams that were dropping 14, 15 kills. And it's like, when you talk about prizing on top of that, it easily makes up those placements. So I personally, and you and I have talked about this a lot off camera, I'm a full W key. I'm a no brain, just full send type of guy. So if you're telling me I'm going to earn an extra couple $1,000 and split that throughout my team, very much so enticed to play like that. So I know NA definitely a little bit of that ego that needs to be fed. So maybe we will get a bit of that. I'm hoping for it.
So they'll have 25 minutes to play the missions, then extract. If you die early, that means you sit and watch. It's a private server. So there's no QQ go next like we would see in Rivals or things like that in the past. You've got to wait it out. So that is that point where, remember, if you mess up, all that you got for the next 20 minutes is you and your teammates, arguing about what went wrong and planning for the next one. And that can be a little tricky. I love what you said about the W key. I think my favorite quote, one of my favorites of all time, is an old PUBG pro who's retired now named Sexy Pig. First off, great name. And I interviewed him and I go, tell me about your plan for this game. And he goes, Toffees, no brain, all finger. And that's just how he approached video games in general. And I think that works in this game, particularly when we talk about the large-scale warfare mode. Now, in operation, at the level that these players are playing, I'm kind of wondering if we're going to see, I think the winners from, I think it was Group B and EU, they never even fought. They just went to the north side of the city and tried to avoid everyone when it came to Breckish. So I wonder if that sort of big brain mentality is going to start to come up, or if they're going to learn from watching EU and there's going to be 3 teams on the north side. You know what I mean?
I do think it's going to differ a little bit. I think there is a clear-cut opportunity here to take advantage of what we saw earlier in the day. There is definitely, like we've heard them say, full PvE moment where you are literally just fighting bots, looting up, getting the best value, and getting out. And you don't have anything really contesting that. I will say, though, despite that W key and that decision, I do understand as a analyst, like, third parties galore are going to be happening. You do need to be a little bit more passive or a little bit more decisive when it comes to how we want to approach or take this fight, or do we want to just be patient for it? Which I'm going to give you guys a fair warning. There will be a lot of that. There will be a lot of patience, a lot of waiting for people to have to move through those positions and those choke points before we start to see action break out. And then when we do, it is pure chaos for the next 10 minutes.
All right, let's talk about the group drafts and the teams that we're going to see sort of taking the field out there for the North American tournament. These are the groups. We said there will be 6 teams in each group. We are starting out with Group A, so we'll be watching D-Man, Leet, OS Semloot, funny, Comeback Kids, Juicers, and the O-Town Warriors, which is obviously fans of a popular band from the late 90s. That'll be Group A, and then we're going to move on. So they will be playing all 4 games today, Adam, but we're only going to watch them play 1 game. Then we'll go visit some of our other groups as we progress through the day.
Yeah, a bit of round robin here for everybody who's not familiar. So there will be matches in different rounds going on. So these guys are going to get plenty of experience, plenty of exposure to these maps. So while we only get to tune in for little bits and pieces, you are going to see that meta evolve very quickly across the board, not only from earlier today, but in general. And I was going to point out O-Town Warriors as a fellow 90s kid. I was like, yeah, that's a W in my heart. The fact that they even know what that is, as I feel more and more out of touch every day at esports as we see these younger kids come in.
It's gonna sting real bad when we find out it's just the name of like their local city.
Oh, it is. It's probably like Ohio or something like
right,
that.
Ohio Warriors. Good for you guys. So we will be covering that. It should be a lot of fun, but also remember, just because we watch one round and the meta is slow, it doesn't mean the next one's going to be the same because it's different teams in each game. For instance, we're covering Group B. I think second, the IGL for Team Squidward is a pro IGL for Apex. He worked for TSM, XSET, a couple of other big orgs. So like I expect them to have a little more aggression to them. So this should vary throughout the day. Let's talk about Group A. Now, I'm going to ask you if you recognize any of them, and it's okay if we don't, or if you guys at home don't, because that's what I love. This is the first time we've done esports. A lot of these guys aren't even streamers. They're just people who love the game and play it all the time.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of unknowns, but I think that provides a really fun narrative as well. Looking at the teams in general, I do recognize the name Neurosplit. I don't know where from particularly, but it does sound familiar. Maybe it's someone who's just dominated me in lobbies or something, but it definitely sticks out. But yeah, realistically, I'm coming into this kind of blind. You know, I did my homework with you. We were popping around a bunch of streams over the past week and trying to find out, you know, who's grinding for it based upon the account system. And maybe that's something Toff you could kind of lean into of how they've set up or what the opportunity is coming in, because we had a lot of questions. Is there a salary cap? How do the loadouts apply? But you got the lowdown. You actually got to find out what it was. I
got some info, and it sounds like the players themselves are a little back and forth on what is and isn't proper, but I'll give you the breakdown. Also, I will say before I do that, if you guys, we're in chat live with you, so if you know these teams, if you've got favorites, if you can tell me why I should cheer for them, I would love to hear it from you, even if it's my buddies on the team. Now, as far as getting ready for this bad boy goes, they had to qualify. They went through the group stages. They got to here, and they were given an account. That account has elite passes, so the tickets, those purple ticket options that, well, most of us have 3 if we're lucky, right? We use them and then they're gone. These guys are going to use those to enter their raids. Now, they have had them since last night. There are some players who were decided to access early and try to grind out and unlock some operators, maybe get their hands on a little extra cash. A lot of them chose to wait, though. They thought it would be the most fair to just use the account as it was. Now, I talked to a player this morning. He said that he was, after he cashed in all of his sort of like new account bonuses, hit all the season stuff, he had about $1 million plus in cash, plus all the elite tickets that he needed. So he felt like that was a pretty good jumping off point for them to be able to manage what they have. Now, the reason I like this, Lawler, is I will be honest with you. When it comes to Space City and Breckish, I do not live very long because everyone looks so geared, right? You have to go in with your best. But because this is elite tickets, we're going to see some ammo. We're going to see some gear that's maybe not as strong as we're used to saying. So I think gunplay is going to be very important here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty informational in regards to like the approach. First and foremost, my biggest takeaway, a lot of respect to the guys that are like, you know what, we're going to go in on an even slate just like everybody else. We're not going to try to grind that extra overnight stuff. But the reality is at the end of the day, you got to land your shots and you got to rotate perfectly. So again, for a lot of people, those elite tickets kind of forego, and you're seeing some people say that in chat as well, that if you're using those elite tickets, kind of forgoes the money limitation, even though $1 million does sound like a lot. It isn't in the grand scheme of things when you're building these loadouts, but I think the big difference make is going to be, like you said, in those operators, who is going to be using the ability to go and scan and do things in a different way that provides that insight and that information that is absolutely crucial in these moments. So
now I will say, do be aware that I saw a little bit of this in EU. If you survive your first raid with the elite ticket, you can upgrade your weapon with whatever you've unlocked on that account for the next match. So you can add attachments if you want to and things like that. So that is something that could come into play if teams were able to gain a couple of early levels. Then, you know, like, it's not a ton of extra, but to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, when you're at this level, every +2 to handling counts when you need to get that gun up quickly. So we're going to see how that develops throughout the day today. I'm pretty excited about it. Now, let's talk. I know that you did the Hazard Ops Twitch event, so you've got experience being shot by these kinds of players. Do you expect it to be as fast-paced here in Operation, or what do you kind of like set me up for what to expect today?
Yeah, so a few weeks back, I got to compete in Twitch Rivals for Warfare, and it was a blast. By all means, I think if we take a step back and just a general note for everybody, this game is free to play. It is on Steam. Go download it. The community is amazing. Go check out the Discord. Be a part of this. There's a bunch of new content that's coming out literally this month. There's a new game mode. There's a bunch of really cool things that are going down. So literally no excuse to just plug and play. Like, there's no reason not to. So I got the ability to go in and play in what is a more like battlefield-centric type game mode, which is Warfare, where it is point-based and objective-based, and you're pushing against a front of offense versus defense, which we will get to see tomorrow and 2 days later after that. So we do get a mix of both. The cool thing about the contrast is that there is something for everyone in this. I do think this is a little bit more slow pace, tactical. You got the buddies online. Come in and really strategize and hard calm this and take it as seriously as possible. And then if you want to just go W key and frag like I prefer, there is that game mode as well. So I did think we saw definitely some meta guns that we will not see in this time. I think there is a lot more long range tactical type play that I will not see compared to that. But again, I think the game is very easy to pick up and play. I think you want to think more of it as an attack shooter and more of as a non-arcade type style, and despite that, it is very accessible. I don't think anybody I saw had issues with like recoil control or anything like that. But then again, I had a stack squad. I pulled Valorant FPS pros. I pulled Apex. Like, our team was cracked, and I was definitely the backpack. Like, I was being carried, and it was okay. But I kind of held my own, I guess.
Dude, what if you spend so much time in Delta Force they eventually put a backpack in this game called the Thornton? That would be.
I'll be down.
Incredible, right? The Lawler.
Hit me up.
It's a purple Lawler on my back. Here's the schedule for today. We're going to be rotating the 2 beast mode maps, Space City and Brakesh, to start out. They're going back around to each one. Group A, B, C, and D going to get showcased on different maps. But the reason we're doing this is these are the tough maps. These are the ones that you don't get to see as often. But here is my other big one. You sort of brought this up, and at the risk of harping perhaps too much on how much I enjoy this game, it is that diversity of game. You can play Chaos, Warzone, and you want. You can come here and play sweaty operations, but also there's levels where they're far more difficult. There's Zero Dam, Basic, which is supposed to be less gear. But again, it's a community, more importantly, developers that are actually listening. Like, there are new updates coming. A brand new patch is on the way, and in it, we're going to have interesting things like maybe gear caps on Basic so that you don't have to worry when you start out. It's very accessible for new players. I will be honest with you guys, I was traveling and I missed launch by about 3 to 4 weeks. And if you are an extraction specialist like I am, you know how horrific it is to miss the launch of an extraction game. But I don't feel completely messed up. I started a week ago. and am having a great time. So I think that for me has been one of the big ones, because if I've gone to other extraction shooters in the past and shown up a month late, it just feels like, what's even the point? I'll just wait till we start over or till the new season comes around. So I do love that about this game. I love the way that it flows, and I love that it's only 3 players and that the matchmaking is actually not terrible. I have pubbed every game so far, Adam, and I have not wanted to kill myself, which is...
Yeah, I'm
like,
with you, man. I think it feels way more impactful too. Like, I'm a big fan of trios. I think quads just gets a little bit too convoluted sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I think trios is a really good spot. The only time I disagree with that is when my 4th buddy is online, but I barely have 4 friends as is, so usually it's not a problem. Plus, trying to coordinate all of our adult schedules usually doesn't happen. So I think, again, between pubs and trios, I think there is a very good way to just kind of get in and get those grinding going. But yeah, usually there is a pretty hard cutoff when it comes to, like, I just got to wait for the season reset. Otherwise, I'm SOL. There's nothing I can do. So the fact that they're doing that and making it accessible, as well as adding in these new features and stuff, there is a really big discourse about how gamers themselves are ruining 2024 because of how critical we are and the things we want and stuff. And the reality is there's a reason why, like, indie games and small developers are breaking out. It's because they're in tune with their community. They listen to what they have to say. Delta Force is no different. They are listening. They are trying to make adjustments. They are trying to make, at the end of the day, a fun game to play. I know it's a crazy concept in video games lately, but turns out if you find a way to make a game fun, people are going to engage with it. You can earn that dope karambit for $80, and it's only like 3 hours of your time. People are going to grind. People want to play.
All right, you got to walk me through the dope karambit system, because it does look cool, and I'm jealous of my teammates.
It's a red it looks so sick.
When they're doing this thing as they run. Again, you press I to inspect your weapons, lads and ladies. You will enjoy it. I promise you that. And I think that has been a big benefit, is to that the game, if you've played extraction shooters and you're in this for the first time with us, it is that middle ground between the hardcore mill sim extraction shooter that we're all used to and the speed-based, I'll just say, like, Apex style run and gun. It's really nice pacing. There's slow breakdowns between the fights, and some of you are asking in chat if we're playing on basic or normal, because the pace of those two things is very, very different. We're playing on a private server, so there is no worrying about that. We are playing at the, I guess, hardest tune for NPCs, but at the end of the day, these are all the best players who have to qualify to get here. So if there was a rank above Ultra, this is what we're playing today, with gear tickets. So that means it's as fair as we could possibly get to truly testing these players' skill. And when I say skill, it's a unique thing, because it's not about how good you are at shooting all the time, Adam. Yes, maybe in Space City there's only 3 extracts, but in places like Prakash, you could get out without ever firing a shot at another player, theoretically, and win.
Yeah, there's a lot of space to work with. I'm definitely more excited personally for Space City because it is a little bit more intimate. There is a lot of very high specific areas, whether you're going through dormitory or otherwise, that you are going to make some friends. You don't have a choice. You have to. We did see earlier in the day a lot of people manage to sneak out through launch area and kind of do their own thing and be separate from that. But for the most part, you will see engagements, whether that is we're going to wait for you to loot and then we're going to third party it or what. That is subject to change. I think North America typically is a bit more aggressive. But at the same time, that completely throws out the window when you come into a lobby and you say, hey, man, this is the right thing to do because I'm the pro and I know what I'm doing. So I don't know, man. I think there's a lot up in the air. I think there's a lot of uncertainty. And for us as viewers, like, you and I just get to be fans of the game. We literally get to just sit here first person and enjoy this for what it is. By the way, we can't do that without the team in the back. Shout out to production. All of the replay ops and stuff, we're absolutely killing it. There's some pretty funny moments if you guys didn't see with a certain operator. Hopefully we get more of that, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Go back and watch the VOD. You can do it on both Twitch and YouTube, whichever platform you guys join us on. We appreciate you being here. Shout out to the guys behind the scenes. Without them, we're nothing. So
absolutely, and without you guys. And so our goal as well for you guys as the viewers is to help introduce you to Delta Force. I'm sure you've watched Rivals. I'm sure you've seen some of the promo events we've done. It's the first time we've gone to this level of competitive play. So what we're going to try to do is help tie that into how you can get better at home and take this with you on your journey, but also as a experienced extraction player, I want to remind you, they are playing not on their own accounts. They don't care about losing things right now. So when you do watch this and you see that brazen push, I'm going to tell you this, and it's going to sting. You aren't that good. You should play a little slower, okay? Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Send me clips at Toffees TV. Easy to do if you are that good. But for most of us, I think that's where you see that sort of Rat-Chad comparison that's so popular in extraction games. Lawler sort of come out is the idea that I like this Badger philosophy that you don't fight when you don't need to, right? You just wait, and if you can third party, if you can fight when your back's against the wall and you be vicious about it and all of your utility is on par, you've got your repair kit still up and running, that's, I think, really what we're going to see turn into the meta. This middle ground of managing your utility, particularly your special skills as well as your repair kits, against the idea of fighting early, because then you're just limping the rest of the match.
Yeah, 100%. Again, we understand these guys are being given an account with things that are being provided, you guys. We understand it's a different situation. We know we are doing that, but at the end of the day, we are trying to see what is the peak of competition. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, let's jump right into it. This is Group A as we kick off map number 1 of our semifinals. Now, you can see the map is up. All the players going in on opposite sides, so a little bit of time as we do have orange and purple going to be facing off, I think, pretty quickly here as they look like they might be bumping into each other already.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of discern where everybody's going rather than people sticking away from launch area. So blue, which is Fisher and the boys, that is the juicers on the south side going to be pushing in. I assume they're going to wait to see if they can either slip into that core area relatively with ease. They don't have anybody nearby. Again, that is with hindsight. Obviously, they're going to be as quiet and as patient as possible. You can see them checking all their angles, making sure everything's good. But primarily, they are going to have a lot of real estate to work with.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, remember, you have the full match time. You don't have to worry about trying to push it here. You can wait to get the perfect engagement when it starts. Now, early game fights are going to be a big deal because right now, there's less chance of you being third-partied. Most teams are spawning in duo pairs, so you can try to get a pick off here without getting attacked from behind. It looks like we're going to see that right now as we jump into what looks like our first fight starting to break up. They're using those grenades to cover the push.
Pretty sure Juice is coming from the south, but they're the dark blue. So this is Mojo and the boys. I'm trying to figure out what team that is off the top of my head.
Mojo is Leet.
That is Leet. Okay, so we got Leet on the backside there, top left.
Up against D-Man Esports. D-Man Esports. And that's orange. And so orange is down up here. You see they've got the high ground.
When did they get a knock?
Right. All right, here's a nice. They're going to jump over here. We changed it. We changed back to this team. We're going to head here. Demon looks like they're trying to get that peak. Decides to smoke and fall back. Top of the stairs, goes for the spray, can't get it. The trade is there, though. Going to go 1 for 1. Looks like he wants to finish the flush, stop information from transferring, as well as make sure you get that first knock. Looking up to get the last player. He sees him. He got the first shot. Goes for the head. Can't quite close the deal. The return fire's there. Down to the last player. He's back up. Got a good shot. Now it's an idea of, do you just wrap around? He's down to 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can get those revives in, but a potential flank here. Again, a lot of noise being made, though.
Yep.
Should be able to hear them on the rotation. Either way, even trade. 2 down for both, but benefit for one of the teams. Again, they could go for the revive here.
All right, so he's going to flush. He makes sure there's no sound cues coming out. He was moving back and forth, trying to throw sound off a little bit. You see Max on the flank around the outside here. It looks like Bai is going to go ahead and grab the guns. Now, this is an interesting strategy you guys got to use at home. When you kill someone, you steal their gun. It's as fast as you can or drop it, because when they get res, they have nothing.
So this is Sem loot. Yeah, Node 1's still up. As another fight starts to engage out. Just comeback kids.
Go ahead, lock down their position there. Grenade's going to come out. This is like a lot of utility being used right now. Luna have been more popular than I expected, for the record. That electric arrow seems to be really good for zoning on this map.
Yeah, a lot of people have been holding choke points and using those primarily. Again, it's just a free way to say, okay, hey, you're holding the peak. I'm gonna shoot that angle with the recurve, and it allows us to either take a different position or peek a different angle. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, most people are gonna not stay in the same spot that they're peeking in. But sometimes those choke points you have to. You don't have a choice. So kind of forces the hand, as they're starting to see. Again, a lot of these guys doing a really good job of making sure that wrapping wide, just trying to make sure that there's no exit opportunities.
So we're going to go back over to Rip. Rip's trying to find a He was forcing that 1v1 earlier. Last man standing. Holding his line against 3. It looks like they got all their reses. Man, that's a bummer. So Rip was forced off of his teammates and now is in a really untenable fight here. Oh no, the reses aren't out, so it's still 1v1. ZZ on the high ground. There's no wraparound. Rip tried twice to find a jump up and has not been able to get his hands on one.
Good push. Gonna get rewarded for it, but somehow manages to get away yet again. Good escape. Curious on if they're gonna repeat. Need to be careful. Wrapping back to the other side. That should enable a lot of time too, so the ability to loot here real quick.
And now he has to remember they're coming in on kit, so he only has 31 bullets left in that gun. He's got to go try to find some backups from his friends. That's something you need to plan with your teammates. When you use those ticket kits in this event, maybe you guys try to find similar ammo types so that if one of you does go down, the team can use it. You know what I mean? Because right now, 36 bullets, not a lot to work with.
On the other side of that, though, does get a team revived, and that is multifaceted. 2 really big importance to that here, Toffees. Number 1, obviously another player in the fight. Number 2, that's a lot more inventory space. So when these guys are trying to extract
big
the
point
amount of loot that they can have, it is a massive difference. But a lot of these fights, very extended. It's going to draw a lot of attention. So expect third parties to start rolling in, especially if these fights continue.
You can kind of see them starting to sneak in from the other side. A few other teams interested in the sounds, but other teams focused on looting because what really matters is not the kills, it's getting out with the cash. And right now we do see one team leading with 500,000. Not crazy. We've seen 4 or 5 million runs today. So as of now, still tenable for everybody.
Now, we talked about right at the very beginning that Juicer's team coming from the south side, launcher, working into core. Easy pickings. Not a whole lot going on, but need to be careful. A little bit north of them as well. That is the O-Town Warriors, our 90s boys. Whether they are actually for that or not is a totally different story, but we're going to pretend to satiate our own egos. We need it, please.
I'm for it. I am for it. All right, so our squads continue to play forward here as we see Bayano Mito trying to make his push forward. Teammate down. Dramatically down. Still dead.
Down bad.
Down real bad. Now remember, you do have, there is the down but not dead. Then there's the flush, and you can revive one time from full flush, right? So that's not, it's a nice part of this game is that it doesn't mean that you're done for just because you get flushed. But if you do keep playing aggressively in front, you're not going to be able to come back. So you should see teams changing who the front man is in tough situations based on who's already gone down in the game.
Yeah, there's definitely been some hiccups here too. And by the way, from everybody we are watching, there is multiple Anomitos that have been appearing in other places, so there is a little bit of overlap that's been a little bit hiccupy. So we'll try to be able to point out which teams are which based on the initial information we got, but at the end of the day, we're right here with you guys. I see what is on screen. So
yes. All right, looks like we're gonna keep moving forward. They're trying to lock down our blue team for a minute. That's Comeback Kids picking up a friend and going for the rescue.
And got some audio cues there. Had to back off that revive.
Yep. Smart.
Oh, he's going to be pinched too. Both angles are covered. Even if you get this revive off, like, where do you go?
Yeah. I mean, the upside is at least you now have a sound cue on your back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the door is going to be a nice hold. He's got 2 coming in at him right now. It's OSM loot. Or awesome loot, if you will. He's using his teammate to scout after getting that res. Gonna go ahead and smoke again. Neurosplit watches the right side. Comeback Kids are indeed living up to their name as all 3 of them have managed to get up. The question is, what now?
Again, at this point, just try to heal and disengage. Got to be careful, though. Again, there's that cross shot on that angle. They're kind of pinched in here, but they did manage to get 1 knock. So revives on both, neutral play from both of those. But the reality is, I mean, you look at the top of that leaderboard, 2.1 million ready to extract. That is something that they have to be careful of with a wipe on top of it. Now, again,
players can't see the leaderboard, right? So they need to understand that they're going to get out of game 1 and be like, oh my gosh, how did they do that? You got to get out of these fights. You just got to move away and try to find some loot and get to the extracts before they're all gone.
The other day, that is the big decider. I'm pretty sure kills are used as a tiebreaker, plus obviously additional funds. So it is not bad, but I mean, you saw the difference. Obviously, they had that extended fight. They got a full kill on the other team, so they're sure, 2 kills, but nothing to extract with it. On the other side too, then they do leave that team without 1 player, so a little bit of a disadvantage. But again, patient as always. Good boost across to dodge that. A little bit of information as well provided.
Interesting. So did you say that they did is that a no backpack? Oh, hold on. Let's hold on for this fight to break out as it looks like the fight is finally happening. Pandas opens fire, gets 1, has to duck back down. Woo! That was a trade.
Again, the 1v2.
Oh, they tried to stop the push. He tried to dive him.
Oh, what a good play, too.
Yeah. Ruh-roh. He hit him so hard, he spun him out.
Gotta heal back up. Again, that fight, that push was the right idea, but that's got to be done in sync, right? Like, you can't take both those angles and allow him the opportunity to 1v1, especially it was a 1v2 on that south underneath the stairs. Then you see that push on the side angle, and it's like, okay, at this point now he's got an isolated shot. You know exactly where he's coming from, pre-fired even.
All right, slow movement forward here. I do think the colors change occasionally. Demon Esports, who we were looking over right now, as O-Town Warriors was glow OTW.
And we talked about the opportunity in these topies where it's like, you know what, you're just playing a PvE world right now, which is honestly optimal.
Yeah.
The ability to just kind of loot up and do your thing and not really have to worry about any combat outside of what is essentially an NPC. So pretty much a free opportunity to really build an advantage. And that's the reality is obviously these things are randomized where you drop. You never know what's going to happen. So a chance to take full advantage. There's multiple rounds that these guys will be playing across. So it usually averages out. Everybody gets their own little advantage here and there, but you never know which way people are going to rotate. And as the first time to be exposed to this, who knows, you know, pushing into the middle in core area, probably not always the best idea, but high risk, high reward. As those teams finally start to stack on top of each other. Glow and the O-Town guys just made it in to join Juicers, so maybe an engagement here sooner than later.
Juicer's been happily alone this entire time, which is why you see such a huge amount of money on them right now. But that's not necessarily going to stick. We do see a couple other players finding some nice big items as the fights continue. But I do like this idea. O-Town Warriors are going to have to bump up against them. I guess maybe not too soon. And then let's see, ZZ and the Demon Esports squad completely on their own up on the north side, kind of recovering and getting themselves back up and running as their loot numbers have increased since they went up there.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet overall for Ham. Just happy to hold a couple angles here. They know obviously a pretty important spot. But again, I think they got a little bit of audio cues and they're just kind of waiting out. Obviously, there's some big caches in here, so staying patient.
Yeah, hard to believe you can really hide with a backpack that big, but I get it. I mean, look at this. That looks like me at a sauna and skipping leg day. So hey, I'm going to hold that angle very nicely here. We got some good slides coming out from Viz. Lots of different operator choices. I'm excited to see which ones we see utilized today. I know we saw, like I said, some crazy Luna play earlier. I expected a lot more Hacklaw, Toxic, kind of D-Wolf combos, but it hasn't lived up to what I expected. There's been a lot more of like finesse heroes.
For those that are maybe, you know, potentially a little unfamiliar with the titles, obviously there's a lot of different operators and a lot of different kind of specialties that they provide. If you had to pick like a top 3 and why, what would it be? If you had like, okay, meta-wise, I think Vision is going to be really good for this reason. That's why I'm going this operator. What are you thinking?
Me, I think holding angles, so things like that electric arrow taught us, is very important. I think the flash coming out of hack is also very, very good. So I do think we're going to see, I think, control. Initially I thought healing, firepower was going to be a big deal, but I think it's going to be operators that allow you to move other teams where you want them, if that makes sense, or prevent them from coming where you don't. Especially with the fact that extractions are going to be so gosh contested.
I'm with you on that one as the fight's about to break out here. Pretty important again. Down a member. That is ZZ. That's with the D-Man Esports. So having to back off, trying to disengage. Neuro and the rest of the guys on Comeback Kids playing very aggressively, which, again, big fan of. But got to land the shots at the end of the day and going to get knocked down.
He wrecked that helicopter, though.
Got him.
All right, so we're going to see a little bit of a fallback here. And now I know sometimes you guys aren't going to get the names on the bottom left. It's our first esports event. They built brand new custom servers with the observing tool. It's awesome. But it is, sometimes we have a little hiccup. We're going to do our best to walk us through those as we continue through this event. But thank you so much to Delta Force for finally giving us a amazing observation mode on an extraction shooter, for the record.
Yeah, not easy to do again. Just little things like this so we can see how the angles are being peaked and everything else as well. Those sidelines are pretty important. So a little bit of a jump peak. Gonna get punished for it. Still able to get away, and a good idea here. Again, initial damage put out, reposition. And again, this is an isolated player. There's only one. And if things are correct, I mean, a shredded vest, not a whole lot to work with, but that's a cheeky little angle.
Yeah, I do think to a certain extent, you're seeing some of these players, they're expecting players to die faster. They're used to using their hardest hitting ammunition against some lower tier armor, and the fact that they are spraying off half a mag and not getting the kill, I think has thrown a few of them in the game one. Nice here push, pops his speed boost, trying to get around to the right side flank, using the smoke, jumps over, gets flanked from behind.
Again, the 1v3 in a dream, not going to work out. So, again, team with V and the rest. This is the Juicers team, I think, is displaying incorrectly because they're the ones that are actually in core area. I'm trying to think who else was on the north there. I think it was potentially Comeback Kids, if I'm correct. Yeah, okay, it has updated. So it is Comeback Kids.
These guys right here, that's D-Man Esports.
No, that's Comeback Kids. Too Easy, sure? Neuro, Devo?
I thought it said ZZ, not Easy.
No, Too Easy.
But D-Man has ZZ. Z-Easy. Thanks, guys, for doing that.
Not easy what they're trying to put us through, all right?
Look, so we're getting loose.
Because there was the one team that disengaged from the top right. I think that was, what, O-Town? O-Town was disengaging from the northeast, and then we had Comeback Kids with the 3. So he flanked all the way around. I think that's what ended up happening.
It's what's really happening is the importance of looting. So you get that second gun. It's a backup. It's also where you can take pieces off in between matches and try to update or customize whatever gun you choose to go back in with if you survive, as well as just a lot of value on that one. All right, so we're back to running. These are the boys we just watched looting, and they are ready to finally re-enter the fray. And I think that they're now at 4.3 million.
Holy.
Is that correct?
Yeah, when did that happen? They just immediately shot up almost like 2 mil?
No, maybe this is the purple team who was at 4. No? Oh, it changes color when you change teams. Maybe.
Yeah, I've given up on colors.
Yep. Fair enough. Well,
never did me well in grade school anyway, so I was more of a numbers guy.
Never really an art student myself.
Oh God, no.
Not a math student either. No, not so. Really, not a great student. Like, video games.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah, I started there. Like, I wasn't really a great student, Like, shut up, I guess.
And that's what
my
counts.
diploma says, right?
That's what counts.
Yeah.
All right, so this has to be the current. That was our leader that we are looking at right now. VIZ. This is the Juicers, currently in blue, with 1.5 million. It looks like. So I can call what they have in the moment that we're looking at them. The colors syncopate when you're looking at them directly.
Correct.
Okay. Cover me, bro.
Just checking those angles. Again, a lot of action to the southeast, but relatively far away. So again, other than the couple, I know we had, who was it? That was O-Town. So it was Ham and those guys, I'm pretty sure. The one with the giant backpack and the tiny leg day was
tiny leg day.
Yeah, tiny leg day. Yeah, unfortunately for Ham. But those guys were the ones that were sitting camping, and it doesn't look like they've changed those angles. So I think the benefit to them, assuming is they hear these guys walk by, they're like, okay, there's people outside, there's people in the area.
Yeah.
That is kind of... To me, it's like they've wasted so much time. Like, that could be time, that could be precious spent looting and everything else. And I understand the patience and the extraction side of things, of information being crucial, but I think, it's been at least like 5-10 minutes in there that they have not moved.
But that's also now, I will say, if their idea is we're going to lock down a spot, set a trap, if nothing happens at 10 minutes, we go out and we hunt.
Sure.
We'll have full gear and full ammo at that point where everybody else is limping. And to be honest, it's a strategy I've used in extractions. I'll let you do the hard work, and I'll just take your backpack when the time comes.
That is true as well.
It's already full. Like you have to get out. So no matter what's in your backpack, you can have the coolest stuff in the world. If you get ambushed on the way out, it's their stuff now, and they've done no work whatsoever. So it is a tough aspect of extraction, but it's part of the reason that I think the highs are so high and the lows are so low, and those of us who are addicted to them continue to come back for these crazy amount of dopamine.
Well, the nice thing is, again, that scouting arrow over the top, they did get a little bit of information. They did spot out the juicers up top. So, again, understanding of bridge control not in their favor, but they can just go right underneath. So, checking all these angles, being very, very cautious, making sure that they do not absolutely give anything away for free. So,
I would love to hear their comms right now.
Oh, God, me too.
A lot of overlapping on their peaks. Oh, here it comes. He's going to go ahead and use that. That's what we talked about, those arrows, trying to lock them in and zone them so they can't push out without taking damage. They're going to have to wait out this one, which allows the team to set cross points.
Now, the difficulty, too, is, okay, this angle is no good, right? We can't go out this way. There's no way they're watching it. At the same time, if you're Fisher and the boys on top for juicers, it's like, okay, they can assume that. We can risk that and play over-aggressive on a different angle, or we can play this differently. Again, that evolution of how teams approach this, how aggressive they want to be. But I think the guys up top are more than happy to just sit and hold their ground. They've got peak advantage on every single angle here, so...
Well, and I want to say,
not a fan.
I think the comeback kids have taught us a lesson here that you guys can take home, and that's you don't have to force the fight, right? Like, that arrow, they could have... I think traditionally we would have pushed that, but they said, nope, not a good angle, let's find something else. They're going to work the stairwell as they come up on the high ground. Juicer's waiting for them. Juicer's, what an angle. This is a zoomer peak right here. He's pre-firing the corner. There's the first shot. Lower tier ammo. Not going to get him knocked just yet. The armor takes all of the damage. Has to go around, use the smoke to relocate. Picks off an off angle on the right side. Trying to figure out what to do. They can definitely hear him running as the rotation happens. Viz falls back. Takes a ton of damage from the grenade. He goes down and opens the door for the comebacks. Nice spray to take one. The vault, the run, the smoke. Not going to be quite enough. There it is. Tracker arrow out.
Again, played really, really well. For a team that's pushing into that situation, I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, again, it was played well. You saw juicers again. Initial angle underneath. You said the zoomer angle. Disengages after applying a little bit of damage. Holds the angle, but smoked out. But the other team, zero hesitancy. They know if they are in that choke point, they have to just commit. So, again, a jump across, covers a different angle. Manages to get that trade on, I think it was on Viz. So Viz is down to make it 2. It's literally just Fisher left.
Yep, it's 2v1, and they did a beautiful thing where they forced Fisher off to the outside so they could get the reses with a cover and make sure they went to a 3 versus 1. So they knew when to disengage. It was very, very smart. From the comeback kids who've been at a disadvantage, honestly, for a very long time. Remember, they were down to 1 in the early fight as well, so they've managed to sort of grind their way back into this.
Be careful, though. You got A on top as well. Is that one just narrow split again? Again, I thought the name sounded familiar, and it's paying off for me. I don't know why. I couldn't give you context, but so far, so good.
Absolutely. He play. I don't know if it's right or left, but he's playing with the whole brain right now, and I do believe that's them at 4.4 million as well. So they're in a very good position in this map. The problem is the teams like the Juicers, if they get camped on the way out, that 4.6 million becomes somebody else's 4.6 million. So comeback kids, I think, being very smart about knowing what they have and that they have to get it out. But so far, we haven't seen a lot of fighting for those extractions outside of just figuring out what to do here at this bridge.
Yeah, I think the thing I've been most impressed by is just the way that they've taken engagements. Despite being in disadvantageous positions, despite having to go up against that adversity with early knocks, very decisive. They understand, hey, it's go time. So we talked about wanting to hear their communication, especially when they're underneath. I really would like to hear how confident they are in being like, okay, 3, 2, 1 now, and they just commit. So very much so an all or nothing, but they understand they have to play catch up. So very much so. 8 kills. I mean, that's a majority of the lobby. That's pretty crazy.
Helicopter is active, so you have to hit 2 switches to fire this bad boy up with no map support while you're in there. These players are good enough to have memorized those spots. For the rest of us, good luck. That said, the helicopter is going to be on its way in. Now, when it gets there, it's a pretty quick extract, and you don't want to not be the one to take it. So I would expect anyone who's planning on camping is going to be headed over to that extract zone right now. We should see a big kerfuffle at the end.
At the same time, it makes your presence known. It's the difficulty, right? Is sure you would hope you have numbers advantage, but at the same time, if I'm hearing that, I'm like, perfect. I'm going to take all your stuff, and I'm going to take your extraction. Double win for me.
It's kind of the hard part of these maps. It's 5 minutes left. This is the extraction option that both of these teams have. So this is a you cannot lose scenario. Let's see. We are watching him push forward. You can see Devo in the distance. That's the comeback kids that he's looking at.
Yeah, really spread out.
Oh.
Ooh, good shot.
Sexy shot.
Yeah, a little bit of a warning, too. I mean, you saw Devo, like we said, on that outside. It looks like they were hunting him down. And again, I guess you can get away with that when you've got aerial coverage.
Yep, 100%. All right, so they're going to lock it in. You see the extracts coming down to the wire. 4 minutes left in the match. Neither team can afford to be too careful. They're going to go ahead and use that huge smoke line. Beautifully done from Stinger to cross the space. Town Warriors trying to hold.
Utility here has been absolutely crucial. Sure, kills and stuff are great for the sustain, but again, that control has been everything so far. The ability to turn off some of those points, force them in a different direction you want them to go. Right on the money with that, Toffees.
Huge smoke right there. I absolutely love. And I remember, if you guys are learning to play these heroes, Stinger is a great starter. Comes with a heal, comes with that smoke, and you can curve the smoke while you're using it. You saw that corner on it. So when you use it, hold down your trigger button, and you can move the smoke as the drone flies.
Need to be careful on how aggressive. Checks the other angle and gets away with it. Again, information absolutely crucial. It's going to be relayed back to the team. You've still got that person top side, but it looks like they've dropped down.
He was smart enough to run instead of try to flick that. It was a good play. Uh-oh. Wow. He had advantage, and he lost that fight. Ham's going to go ahead and heal up. All right, Devo Nura split. Last 2, I think.
That is one way to show that you're not out of it yet. That AUG absolutely melting the face of that other player. So, a little bit of loot.
Not a lot of time. Really just trying to grab things that are not broken.
I'm seeing if there's any like vest repairs or anything in here that they can use. But again, you're seeing how quick that inventory total is going up.
Yep. He fortunately was able to swap into an undamaged vest, but grab that vest repair. He's going to need it. 2 minutes and 42 seconds left. Looks like we're going through trying to grab ourselves the last bit of juice to get out of here.
I think the thing I'm most impressed by, we talk about that difference. Extra $1,000. No, it's 200 per kill, isn't it? An extra 2K for that team.
Nice.
They have 10 kills. That's insane.
So you get cash bonuses for kills?
I'm pretty sure that's what the prize pool's saying.
I see what you're saying.
Unless it's who has the most kills, they get a bonus.
I think it's whoever has the most at the end.
I mean, if it was per kill, that'd be insane. Like Delta Force, I didn't know you guys had it like that. Like, dang.
Nah. I mean, the Karambit's nice, but all right, up they go. I think this is uncontested, right? They should be able to just extract.
Yeah, it should be relatively free. I mean, again, they've been winning all their trades. Things have been clean.
There we go. I think there's one player left.
It's a lot of money.
2.3 mil.
Just repair. Looks like helmet's broken.
All right. 6 million. Jeez.
That's insane.
That's how you start the first match, I tell you what. And this is our comeback kids, right? That are doing this, that are going to walk out with this much. The guys who were knocked down to one player in the first 4 minutes of this game. It's pretty impressive.
Definitely not something to slouch at, man.
No, not at all. It is too easy. All right, listen, guys. Just extract at this point. It's 49 seconds. We're ready to see the scoreboard.
Yeah, get out, boys. Come on.
They're maximizing. This boys maximize. There we go. And now a moment of silence. That's it. That's game number 1 of North American Operations. That was a wild ride. And you know what? It's our first esports event. It's totally understandable. I think the colors were a little confusing, but we're going to work through this together. I'll be honest with you guys. That said, we figured out who these teams are that were worth watching. Comeback Kids were crazy at them. That whole map, we watched them from start to finish, and they never let off the gas.
Yeah, there was a couple moments, I think, where they were in a problematic situation that they were able to come back from, which works out to their favor, their name. But yeah, I think primarily, I mean, you're looking at how they played. It does show that I'm trying to pull up. I'm trying to do my homework as well. We're watching these, get as much information as possible. I did pull up one of the players. They do have quite of a hefty delay because they have to. Obviously, they don't want anybody, kind of cheating doing the thing. So I'm trying to get player comms. I'm trying to listen to what they're saying and how comms are going so I can provide some more insight for you guys as we go on. So I will definitely be doing a little bit of lurking in some of these to provide as much insight as possible.
And I'm going to give a shout out, Comeback Kids. I've been calling you Devo. It's Dev0128. So the O is a zero, is a zero, and it's just Dev. So my
not
apologies.
According to his Twitch stream. So
well, that's what Dev just said in chat. I assume it's the same Dev. I could be wrong. There's too many people with the same name nowadays. You guys weren't gamers back when we were gamers, and we got original Xbox gamer tags without numbers on them, or elite speak. That said, great first game. Chaotic to say the least, but it did seem to come down to really managing those extracts, trying to control your opponents, because again, I think a big walkaway here is when you're watching this, the burn down that the players are getting is not the same TTK that you might see in a pub match right now. Because if you are playing Space City with totally golded out gear, it's going to be a little bit of a different feel than working with these elite tickets. So these players are having to rely a lot more on strategy and particularly gunplay skill to walk out of these matches alive, which was a lot of fun to watch. But it also means you've got to pounce. You've got to be the one that is the aggressor. Unless, of course, who was our team that tried to ambush the Comeback Kids and got smoked?
It wasn't. There was more than one.
It was the O-Town Warriors,
sure.
wasn't it?
O-Town.
It was
Unfortunately, our '90s heroes were on the receiving end of that pain. Yeah, it doesn't help. It came down to a 1v3, and there was a bunch of other problems that came into place. But they tried their best. There is multiple rounds to come. So again, not over yet, guys.
Not over yet, but we are taking a very short break. And when we come back, well, I don't want to say very short. We're taking a break. I don't know how long it's going to be, but when we get back, game number 2 is coming up, and we are going to move to Group B. So if you're a fan of those teams, make sure you stick around.
Good defeat, Wookie. Give it to me.
What? How do you think about it? You don't know what you're doing. Give it back.
How dare you look down on me! Give it to me!
Looks like it's my turn.
I'm Lawler, this is Toffees, and we are going to be having a ton of fun as we get into match number 2. I don't know why you're shaking your head. It's exciting in match number 2. I know. How was your chicken enchiladas?
No, I had the staple chicken rice veggie, and it was delicious. Although I didn't really taste it because of how fast I had to eat it, but it was worth it. I feel refueled, real energized, and ready to go for our second map of the day. We're going to Burkesh, which I know you and I are both very keen on. Simply because we don't have enough experience on it, because we're not good enough.
I'm going to be honest with you guys watching, and this is where I just have to tell the truth. Is my hair falling apart? Absolutely. Have I ever gotten past the first 5 minutes in Breckish? Absolutely not. It is a brutal map that I have not quite wrapped my head around, and I think a lot of players are in a very similar position. So it's a common consensus. Like, I encourage you guys, if you are playing this game, you should get on the Discord, download it. We got great places to pick up squads, but the consensus among players there is I'm good, but I'm not good enough for Breckish. Now, let's take a look at Group A results and who walked away with big money. Sheesh, comeback kids.
Yeah, that is a stamp of approval for, I think, everybody here. I think overall we saw the different play styles, I think, across the board when it came to aggression as well as a little bit passive, but comeback kids had a good balance between both. They were decisive, but still patient, I think is a good in-between for how to explain that. But with that said, obviously some other kills came into play, but weren't able to get the extraction, so it's all for nothing.
Zeros all around. Comeback kids handed out goose eggs left and right, and I do think that is a very difficult aspect of Space City. There's not a lot of ways out. No one chose to no backpack. I thought there'd be a little more secure container earning, but it seems like everybody went all or nothing, and I got to respect that. Now, interesting conversation has been going around as we look at group. Actually, let's go through all the groups. Perfect. So Group B, I heard the guys talking on their streams. They're in the same boat. They were like, listen, we got out with $5 million. Nobody else got out with anything. Now, maybe we get a little crazy on this map and we try to make sure that no one else extracts again.
I mean, the reality is when you're looking at, okay, in the entire lobby, there's 18 players. We're 3 of them. So we're going up against 15, and we just killed 9 of them.
9.
So over half. So realistically, it's like, do we feel like we can outfrag these guys, or is it because of the way we play that things are beneficial? Now, with that in mind, we are starting to see a little bit more balance here in Group C. And as a reminder, everybody is trying to fight for the Grand Finals. The way you get to the Grand Finals being the #1 in your group. So a lot to pay attention to. We're going to see Group C not in the next match, but the one after that. So I'm very curious to see how this one continues to develop, Toffees. Are we going to see, you know what, extraction-wise, 1.8 mils, not that much. It really
not that
isn't
much
in comparison. So
that smelled like a backpack extract to me. Group D, a lot more teams got out on this one. Valuation spread because of that. 6 kills going to Tropa do Miguel, and they're going to walk away with that first place, but still very contested. I think Group D is our 4th match of the night tonight, so we will keep you updated because we'll be wrapping up with Group D, if I remember correctly, and it looks like, I'm hoping, Lawler, that the race continues to be hot for the sake of our final episode.
Oh gosh, I'm really hoping. Also, shoutouts to Schmikey. What a name.
Schmikey.
Schmikey with a hattie.
Like that. Okay, let's look at Group E. E-Zone, taking it so seriously that they put their team names on. I love that. They walked out with $6 million. I feel like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, where's the pinky to the mouth?
We're just doing it again. We're aging ourselves. O-Town and Dr. Evil. Why you gotta do this to me? I'm glad that we are the same. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna take a small rabbit trail here, and that's why I love this game. And let's be completely honest. Gaming in general, you know, we're not playing Atari. Like, we've got a little older. A lot of us have jobs and kids and things to do. And Delta Force is amazing because the matches are around 40 minutes if you're sweaty, 6 if you're bad, and you GG go next. It makes the time with the squad functional and valuable, and I love that. Just like I love seeing E-Zone at the top. This is that overall leaderboard. It does not affect who goes. You are the top team from each group will go to the finals, but this at least you can see who's doing the best in each group. And right now, E-Zone absolutely dominating over on E, despite the fact that another team was actually able to get out with money. Some of our other ones, Comeback Kids, 10 freaking kills and 6 million. Remember, they wiped an insane amount of that lobby because everyone was waiting for them while we watched. They walked into trap after trap and then walked out.
Yeah, I think the reality is when you look at this top 10, sure, you know the teams, but my excitement is you see how close some of those numbers are. You see how big people are playing on the kill side. We get to see them all in 2 days' time play against each other. So, again, a lot of excitement there. Keep in mind for everybody, again, for the format, they are playing multiple round-robin groups that will be playing with multiple different iterations on different maps to kind of see a collective of how well they do. But at the end of the day, they need to be the best performer in their individual group. There can only be one. So, again, some big advantages and a lot of catch-up. And like you alluded to, is that going to change the strategy? Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive and play deny versus safe and conservative?
I do want to clarify, because I think round robin, when we talk American sports, is a little bit different, right? The idea that like the teams aren't all playing each other. Your sixth group is your sixth group. You will continue to play against them the entire time. We're jumping into match number 2 right now here on Brakesh as we start out. Eyes to keep on. Team Squidward wiped the lobby, or everybody else died last time around. From what I understand, Vayne on Squidward was the Apex IGL for TSM and 100 Thieves. So this guy knows his stuff. And apparently when he's in strategia mode, he's unstoppable. So we'll see if that continues as the game gets underway right now.
Yeah, definitely want to pay attention to, and obviously a lot of chatter in our own Twitch chat with the guys stopping by and feeling confident. They're like, yeah, you know, strategy-wise, we felt pretty confident in what we did. Let's recreate that. I go, that's a great idea. Too bad you're on a different map and it doesn't matter.
Yup. A different map that is known for just how hard and compressed it can be, especially on the south. Fight's already breaking out. Mate stomp down. TS Vayne getting lit up right now.
It was a really good shot.
All right, we're seeing another Luna in play. Ooh. Head domed. Is that it for them?
That's what, Holtacor?
No, I got 2 left, so he got picked off, I think.
Horticultoris? I think that's who that is, right? Yeah. So both being able to get that revive again. Pretty aggressive trades out of the gate, but this is one if you can heal up and disengage. Have one hold your angle.
Yep.
All the others try, but again, those nades absolutely impactful. Able to kind of turn the tides of things. Still a little bit of time to loot, though. I love it.
So they're grabbing blues at this stage. You grab whatever you can. You just stuff those pockets. You never know what's coming next. All right, so they did get a little bit of action. They're going to move out of this one. It looks like we've already got one team completely wiped. I don't know which team that is just yet, but we'll try to get some more information. They got 1 kill and a flush. So Horticulturers are going to walk away with a nice, what do you call it, like a notch on the gun, notch on the belt. Where would you push your notches, Lawler?
You know, I would have to earn them first, probably. So, you know, I'm not even gonna bother with the mentality or the thought process of where my, you know, hypothetical notches would be. But I would stick to like charms. You know, I would like bedazzle my gun.
Yes. You know? I would maybe hang a little stick off of it or something.
Yeah, maybe when they're like scoped in, like the sun hits it just right and it blinds them a little bit, gives me a bit of an advantage. Because I need everything I can get, any advantage I can get.
All right, so we got a little choke point here at the arches. It looks like we are still watching Horticultores. And they are not sure where the threats are coming from because this map is like that.
Honestly, the answer is yes. I'm looking at that mini-map and I'm like, everywhere, man, look out.
That's insane. I figure out who is above them. And Zeta. So this is Bog of War we're looking at right now. With Zeta, Ruin Loots, and a Run. They are pushed right up against the blue team you see over to the north.
So I'm trying to think, again, markets to the west, they've got a Zertown to the north. I'm trying to remember map layout. If they go north, it's pretty much a one straight shot, and there's a team, I'm pretty sure there, that's hiding it. So, again, maybe you work south and go southwest and try to find a way into Royal, but Museum, I think, is going to be pretty sought after. Oh, man, I mean, they're in a pretty tough spot, man. Also,
3.7 million, baby. That's not bad. That's
What a
not
find.
bad. All right, which team are we sitting on this right now? Because that is a huge pickup. He's like, can we get out? Can we get out? We gotta get out, man. We gotta get
Can
out.
we just extract right now?
That is Mate and Factura. Zunmo, Stomped, and Papa De Donato. And I am sorry if I butchered that in any way, shape, or form. The more we watch you during season 2, the better we'll get. I know. It takes time.
I am no better. Dude, my name is Adam Thornton. Like, what do you want from me? All right.
I want a damn Thornton. All right. Which is the new backpack coming soon to Delta Force, in case you guys haven't heard about this new purple. We're excited about it.
Hey, if I get royalties on it, let's make it happen. I'm okay with it.
Bro, royalty. I'll do that. Listen, if you want to put a Toffees bag in the game, you don't have to pay me. I just like pictures of me in games. It's never happened before.
Something to look at.
Yeah.
You're never going to get past that 6-minute mark then if you're too busy starting your own backpack.
It'll be worth it in the long run. I was in the PUBG game once, and it was probably the most exciting day of my life. So I was on a big billboard. Made me happy.
That's actually pretty
All
cool.
right.
When
It
they
was
showed
pretty
the
cool.
sport and stuff.
Yeah, I took screenshots and sent it out to all my family. I was like, "Look, Mom, I'm on TV." She's like, "Is that a video game?" Oh, go outside. Oh, classic.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Listen, the game has changed. Dads play video games now. It's the best. All right, so now we are back to teams trying to find stuff. Did they stash it?
I think so.
Look at them. They're like, if we go down, you don't get the value. I freaking dig that. Put it
we
under
saw that
a
a
plant.
lot in Europe earlier,
Yep.
where people were like, "Hey, we know this is gonna be a pretty contested area. If we can
Yep.
do this, and we plan on retreating back out this way anyway for an extract,
Yep.
why not?"
Yeah. It just feels like there's this show that I like to watch called Alone, where people get stranded in the wilderness, and there's this famous episode where a guy catches a fish that's going to save him, and he hides it in a bush and just cannot find it again, and loses. And I worry about that. How do you tell the bushes apart? I guess you could ping it and just never re-ping.
I also feel like identifiers in video games are a lot easier than real life.
No.
You know,
Video
it's not
games
like you got
are
a
real
mini
life.
map to be like, it was in this corner. And like, imagine you open up your, well, technically we have GPS. Technically we do have mini maps in real life.
Well, with the future of Google Glass, I will have mini maps in real life soon.
That's crazy.
Crazy. All right, so we got a nice little contested area down here in the south. We've got 3 pushing up against each other on the north, and not one person interested in the west.
Yeah, it's interesting to see everybody go north of camp. Again, we got 2 south side. Those will probably stall out for quite a while. I don't foresee anybody making any big moves. If you are Santa's Vengeance, I just hold that spot. I've got no reason to push, and I feel they're doing exactly that. Based upon what we're seeing, you know, they're holding those angles, expecting, because there's only one way out, right? So I think for them, they're in a pretty happy position. On the other side, though, I'm trying to get some info. If I'm, I forget who's to the west of this engagement, which again is a crazy one. I either push aggressively and try to play third party, or I disengage.
No,
completely.
bad time to heal. Sorry.
Oh,
Bad
got
time
it.
to heal.
Yeah, you got jump peaked on that too.
Yep. A lot of jump peeking today. Big time jump peaks. All right, so we got one team that is completely out. 3 they're out.
Yes.
One that is completely disconnected. Fair enough. So we're down to 3, which I think is what you have to do on this map. You really got to get to a point where there's only 2 or 3 teams left to try to extract. Otherwise, it just gets way too congested. You don't want to have to resort to slipping out. Bathhouse is going to get a one-time shot. I guess, are we grabbing dog? Anybody grab dog tags yet to try to take that top floor lab out? I don't see anybody wasting the slot space on it.
Again, decent pickup. So he probably got a good like 600K there, I think, in value. But again, shots can come back down again. This was the Horticult team that we were with, and Zeta and the boys over on Bog of War. So we saw this engagement happen initially. They disengaged for a tiny bit and then re-entered. So now that there's only 3 left, you have 2 that are on top of each other, and then the one on the north side that's basically free to roam. So
yeah,
again, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. we are going to see that helicopter go down. There's a lot of value in that. We saw that be kind of a win condition for a team earlier today, too, in Europe. So, just being a bully. Port Ruin. What are you doing in a situation like this where a helicopter is just bullying you?
I mean, I just like high school, try to go eat lunch in the teacher's office. Nah.
Single
I
stall,
mean,
closed.
right? Just hope for the best. Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really have a lot of other options. You hold down and you get him headed up, and then you sprint for cover as fast as you can. And I will say, again, guys, we're watching this. It is the first time we've ever done esports for this game, and let alone observer modes for extraction shooters. Like, there's a lot of cutting-edge stuff that Delta Force has been willing to do for the community. And I love what we're getting so far. I also believe that Season 2 is going to be incredibly... Like, this is awesome. The players are telling me that they love it. And, like, yes, there are some kinks. I think we're going to see some changes in the future. But, like, man, once, like, some of the color bouncing is set, this is going to be like insanely fun to watch. I love this observer mode.
Yeah, I mean, again, we just joked a little bit about how I can't speak Spanish, and I don't know how people in chat expect me to be able to read like Hanzi and stuff and like kanji. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not that cultured.
Yeah,
like I've
not
been to a lot
yet.
of cool places, but you know, we're doing what we can. Again, we are at the mercy of what we see. I still think, again, our observers are doing an incredible time. Everybody behind the scenes is absolutely crushing it. But the client itself, again, this is the first iteration. The reason why we do these things are kind of a pilot. They're, I guess, in check. We are going to make additions. We'll provide feedback. These will always get better over time. So, again, the fact that we have a private server where the best of the best can play against each other in a controlled environment, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So, it's
and
I think a learning experience for everybody.
And to speak to the player experience, they seem to really be enjoying this context because it is hard to really test your skill against other people at the highest level without something like this to do that. And we get the benefit for the first time ever of watching, which I think has been pretty cool to see these overhead shots, to get to go in and look at their loot pools. You know, I love Rivals. You did Rivals. I did Rivals.
Yep.
I love watching sort of the way that we share the streamer's perspective, but I love this even more. The idea that, like, not only are we seeing a new perspective, these are players who oftentimes aren't even streamers. These are guys who play because this is their jam. And watching the way they approach these maps has been pretty awesome, to be completely honest.
I mean, if we take a step back, right? Like, you and I have both been in the esports industry for a decent amount of time. I think I'm up over a decade now. So it's like being able to see the evolution of an esport. Like, I've been very lucky to be in the grassroots of a space before it really broke and made it big. But for something like this is a big opportunity for everybody involved. For commentators, it's a chance at a new outlook, a new game, a different perspective. For players, this could become their livelihood. This is like, there is early foundational things that these people are going to look back and be like, dude, do you remember the community tournaments back in 2025, like the beginning of the year? Look where we're at now. Like, those are like chapters of what could be a story in the future, which is really exciting. So sure, there's a couple blemishes, and we're not gonna ignore that. We've been talking about them pretty directly with you guys in chat, but we're along for this ride as long as you guys are, right? Like, we're in this part together. So I think it's a lot of fun to be able to just kind of enjoy it for what it is. We know it could be better, but the reality is like, the guys are putting in a ton of time and effort, and without it, we don't have anything to really spectate and enjoy. So
absolutely. And everything starts somewhere, man. I've got a mouse pad on my wall right now from the first ever esports production of a game that I won't mention, with 100 signatures on it, and a bunch of guys on there are now millionaires, right? Because they found something like this that grew and got bigger, and I absolutely dig that. So I'm glad we all get to watch it. I'm glad we get to be a part of it. I'm glad these guys are just looting their bums off right now. And I do like what we saw here is... Here we go. Okay, Zeta.
That slow peek. He might actually get punished for this. What an aggressive peek from Ruins.
Well, he's got... Yeah.
Like,
it feels like a trade
street
peek.
and like, no smokes, nothing. Like, I get you don't want to give anything away, but that is such a risky peek.
So he was holding a push angle. Once his team got across, they went out the backwards. So you kind of wonder if, like, why not just smoke there? But they're working that wrap around. We'll see if they can make it into a safe spot.
Through the movement.
Right? That's brilliant for the parkour in this game. You know, I mean, honestly, like, granted, as a Zero Dam and Leali, aficionado, some of the parkour
Weird
in this
flex,
game has
okay.
been absolutely fun. It's not a weird flex. I enjoy the game, but I'm not good enough to be these guys, and I'll be honest about that. Hit me up in 6 months, and we'll see what's going on. That said, though, I do love the idea that, like, there's like the parkour stuff on Zero Dam is awesome and fun, and I do like that they've added that sort of quick speed of movement, but the game slows down. You have these moments here where if you're an extraction aficionado, a classic extraction guy, you like these 2 to 3 minutes of a time where everyone catches their breath, loads their guns, gets their things fixed, right? It's not like a rage shooter where it never stops. And I really, really enjoy that about watching Extraction. And I think Delta Force has nailed that middle ground very, very well. And I'm not just saying that. I've got tens of thousands of hours in Extraction.
Yeah,
and
I think
Delta Force is a blast.
I think we alluded to it earlier, right? Like Vayne is a longtime FPS legend, right? Like he's been playing for a really long time, IGL. And when you're telling me, okay, I'm used to fast, intense, crazy engagement all the time, go, 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 and instead I have the ability to take a step back, look at it from a widespread mentality and say, you know what? Okay, these are the things we need to consider. What are your thoughts? What's your perspective on this? And like kind of check in with the team like you would normally in real life. I think it provides a different level of strategy, a little different ability for what we appreciate is like the skill ceiling, the really standout people that it's like, yo, that guy's the IGL. Why? Well, listen to what he's doing, how he approaches this situation, which is a high pressure situation with money on the line, like uncertainty across the board of like, maybe there is someone nearby that's ready to engage. Like, I think it's pretty exciting to be able to see that evolution and really, like you said, have the time to kind of take that breath and say, okay, how do we want to approach this next step? Let's go do it.
And I like what they're doing right now. So this is Team Squidward that you just talked about. And what they're doing is they're throwing their backpacks down and trying to figure out how to maximize loot space. And so they know they have a little bit of downtime, and they're literally figuring out how do we get as much possible money into our space as we can and then make our movement out. And we can leave a few spots open if we need to or whatever else goes from there. They're stripping guns. They're stripping other players' stuff. I think it's a really, really smart way to play this because they know that in a couple of minutes with that clock at 13, the chaos of extraction is going to start, right? And you want to be able to, if you see a valuable gun, maybe grab it and not have to worry about stripping the parts off because, again, you get a really expensive scope. That's a good amount of money in your pocket. So we're going to see what these players continue to do as they go forward.
Got a little bit of audio here. We could see something. Good patience, too. Has the shot. Needs to be careful. Is going to unload. Does find one, but it's a trade. Another player down to one. It should be a 2v1 now. Flush on one. It's just Zeta. Need to be careful on the backside. Again, want to get upstairs. Should be able to get to the rooftop. And a quick revive. But again, on that backside, Zuin has to hold the peak. Again, there's not a whole lot you can go with. Again, best chance to smoke and pop for the revive, but need to be careful. Spray throughout. Not going to connect. Again, if I'm the other team, I'm playing aggressive.
Yep. Looks like they're coming forward. Bogawar trying to make a play. Gets the knock. See the nanobots on the attack. Pulls it off. So annoying.
Again, that was a 1v2 push. Able to get one, so this is even. This is a 1v1.
Ooh, shots coming out. A little bit of pre-fire. He knows the peak was coming. Now my turn to send nanobots at you. Oh, I see you now, baby. He's going to boost himself. Goes ahead and throws out that poison smoke.
This would be so clutch for Zeta.
Made in Factura. On the high ground, trying to hold this position. It's Zonmos. Got the pre-fire. There it is. He got one shot in. He has to duck low. The speed of the P90 versus the power. Both get healed back up, but that means no helmet left on Zeta. That helmet got zeroed out in that last shot.
At the same time, it's like, where do you go? And I was like, about time you find a different angle.
Yep. That broken leg is
escape.
tough.
Yep.
I think it's 25% movement reduction.
Again, it's kind of all or nothing here, too. It's like, do you just disengage and be like, you know what, I'm going to take my losses and we'll live to fight another day?
Yep.
Or...
I don't think you can, though.
don't
Only
know.
one
I
team
don't.
advances to the grand final, and you know Team Squidward is already up 5 million on you.
Like, this is such a huge swing if they don't go for this.
You have to.
Yep.
I mean, that's hard to say, but like we now know meta-wise, the early game is going to be insanely important for these teams. So if you got to have big game 1 and game 2 to set you up for 3 and 4 of not getting just sort of rabble roused, right? People are going to, if you're leading after 1 and 2, why not just hold extracts? So they got to get out there. They got to make these plays. We got 10 minutes left on the clock. 3 teams still active.
It looks like got a teammate up, so it's no longer a 1v1. Was that a different team? Is that another team?
It was. Yeah,
that's another team coming in. They heard the shots.
converged.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, they're being means.
Found it.
Go for the res. He heard it. He heard it. He sent everything he had.
Yeah, but he doesn't realize there's another team coming in. Oh, this could get dicey real quick. This is a huge swing too, because if you're this third party and you can take out one.
Yeah. So right now, Mate and Factura are 3 strong, which is pretty big deal for them.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Just hold your angle, man. Don't risk it. Again, Zeta's got good shots.
You need the advantage.
Hey,
yes.
there it is. Well played.
I shouldn't cheer for anybody, but I just love the person who's at a disadvantage. Great move by
Dude,
Zeta.
I wanna
Holds
see
the
hero
angle.
clutch, man.
I know, right? Oh, we live for that. So that is going to put him a little bit of an even playing field here.
So you got a
2-1-2.
1v2?
Yeah. 1v1v2. I'm not sure who the green squad is. Let me see if I can read those names.
So it's Mate. Okay, Mate and Factura, right?
Well, so these are still the 2 we were watching. Off in the distance, you can see TS, Vayne. Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
Squidward. That's who's off. That's who's looking in.
So we got Bog
from
of
the
War
outside.
who came in. It was Bog of War versus Squidward, and now Mate and Factura, were they part of the initial?
It was Bog of War versus Mate and Factura. Team Squidward is the possible third party. I think.
That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right, but that's what the names told me.
Because Zeta, we've been watching 1v2 and 1v.
Zeta is Bog of War, right?
Yeah,
And we know
so
that he's
Bog of
been
War
playing
is
here the whole
definitely
time.
part of the initial.
That 100%.
But I thought Vayne and those guys were in the initial fight.
They might have been because they are down 1 player now, I think. Total flush.
So I think
'Cause I saw
think
Mate
it
and
was
Factura
Bog
at 3.
and Bog Squidward, and then we saw Mate and Factura come in late.
There was never a third team. There's always a third team. I play Extraction. There's always a third
We're just
team.
losing our minds slowly.
Right? Oh, no.
Also, if you
Alright,
guys are coming
so-
to chat, for anybody who is playing, obviously we're on a delay, so if you guys could, you know, not spoily boy, that'd be appreciated. The other day, yes, we're supposed to be casting this and everything, but we're also fans.
There it is. He's got the stairs. He's got the death. All right, Mate going to go ahead and get the pick up there. Save my boy. This guy's been on a rescue mission forever.
Gosh.
All right, so that, I think that was the end, I believe, of Bog of War.
Correct. That was
Okay.
Zeta was the last one that
Zeta
so
fought
faced
hard and
that-
nobly. Oh, what a rescue.
Yeah, Zeta fought a 1v2, right?
Mhm.
And then took out the solo that they just then brought back. So
All right, here's Squidward. That I can confirm.
yeah, Squidward hard disengaged.
Yep. Smartly.
Yeah, with Vayne. So they still have 2 up, 4.5 mil. Like at this point, I think you're just hoping for an extract, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean. Oh,
well done.
I guess. Glad you had a shield there, big dog. Gosh, look at all those purples. Oh, bro, the NPCs are as bad at camping here as the other teams are. Every corner is a threat. This map is just built diff. He's still looting.
I feel like when you're at this level of competition, you're never not. Like,
You're
I
never
think
not
the one
looting.
thing I really enjoy about extraction shooters is it really, really benefits my inner like loot goblin.
Yep. Oh, dude, isn't it? And no one get mad at you because that's the whole
Yeah.
point. Like when I play battle royales, people are like, "You're still looting." Like, of course I'm still looting. It's the best part of the game. Extraction, they can't say that.
I feel like that's how extraction shooters came to be. Everybody was playing BRs and they're like, dude, stop looting. You're like, what if we made looting the point? It's like,
Yes, it's like
perfect.
that Wolf of Wall Street scene. Always be looting.
Yeah.
I will say this. By the way, so they're ahead of us.
Oh,
We're not on
no.
delay.
Oh,
We're
no.
talking to you guys on chat, so we can chat if you have questions. Feel free to ask them. Why are they using blues? I saw someone ask that in chat. It was Ingrid's. It's because they're using elite tickets to get their items, so it's a little more fair. It's a fresh account, and that means blue ammunition and lower tier armor, which is awesome in my opinion.
I quite have to agree.
Sing extracted with the 4 million. See, thank you, Merc. So according to Merc, they put 4 million onto Sing and got him out already. So Team Squidward, if this is true, this is from our sideline reporters who are coming to us from the field. They already got a bunch of money in the bank. If you got, yeah, I love sideline reporting. Thank you. This would be the perfect game for a sideline reporter who could cut in
sick.
with updates, right?
I just think of like Ollie in the weather. Like,
Yes. Hey, Lawler and Toffee, I just want to let you know, Squidward distracted one. Back to you. He took the dog
It'd be
tag
so
extract.
convenient. It's so convenient. Just give me the quick deets.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
You know, like,
Come back in. Squidward took the dog tag expert. They got 4 million. Have a great day. That's all I need. Nice. Dog tag extract. So they went to the top of the tower, got him out with 2. That's what we saw with that 3-person shot where they were passing gear around.
That makes a lot of
maximizing
sense.
the 4 million extract and then moving back down to get some more loot.
Remember we had that fun little conversation. We're like, I wonder what they're talking about. I wonder, like, oh yeah, strategy, this and that. He's like, take our stuff and run, bro. Get out.
Yep. Be strong for all of us. I mean, if that's... They got out with 4.6 milli, and they got, like, what, 5 on the last one? That's nuts.
Yeah, they were sitting in first with a little over 6 mil, right?
No, 5.8 million after game 1. So, I guess Squidward's not going to work at the Krusty Krab tomorrow. Going to the Grandfinals.
Or he's franchising.
Yes,
He might
yes.
be franchising.
That's a good point.
Open up another
That's where
one.
you can make the millions. All right. They are being very careful here. No one is around, but I like their carefulness.
It's why they can get past this gate, man.
Yep.
Again, at this point, it's like plenty of time still. No need to rush it.
Mm-hmm. You got to respect teams that walk. That felt nice.
Very cinematic, actually.
Yeah, but there's nothing. The one-tap headshots in this game really do feel lovely.
They really do.
I like that he's using a gun he picked up from an NPC to save ammo on his main weapon. He had a little Uzi on the side.
I mean, at this point, you have to, right? Like, we talk about going from game to game and stuff, and sure, they're using and provided a little bit extra then. We saw some people in chat being like, man, I wish they dropped this many reds for us. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, client that they are being provided on the private servers is definitely a little bit spicier.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, still, you can't break the habits of what these guys have been doing for, hundreds of hours.
Hundreds. That's funny.
Just trying to be generous. People...
Thousands.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of time.
You have to be generous. There's no downside to being a hopeless degen anymore. You can make money doing it. Degeneracy is only a negative when you don't get paid. Oh! I didn't even have time to play-by-play that. It was just a trouncing with an iron sight.
Yeah, and the repeat too as well.
Yep, very nice.
Use the cover. Understand that that spray can continue.
It would seem that they did not, in fact, cook here at the end.
All
That
that
4
walking
million
around
out
should
though
have ran.
is pretty massive. So, but honestly, you got to wonder if Vane's main goal here is just to keep them from getting out, right? Like,
I mean, realistically, it's not a bad idea, right? Like, sure, he's gonna lose some stuff, but if they were allowed to extract with everything that he truly needs for the next round, or he still has those elite tickets, like, realistically, sure, you can just bully. And again, if noise and stuff is going on, you know where they're extracting, you could just rush to that point and play defense. Like,
I mean,
it's
they have
not a bad
8.1
idea.
million. He needs to stop them from getting out. 8.1 is impressive.
It's a lot.
But with 1 minute and 30 seconds, it could be nothing. And that is the pickle. Vane gonna hold that position. They're like, we got to do something here, guys. 1 minute left. Am I missing something? Are they in an extract that I don't know about?
What's your full send timer? When are you going in? You're commenting.
now?
You're commenting on the team, and you're like, all right, 45 seconds. When do we go?
Here we go. They're out. Okay. They got out with the big money, right? No. Yeah, they got out with the money. They should have.
Yeah. They're plenty fine.
So he'll res, and then I think he'll try to follow them to that extract.
Yep.
They were essentially just holding it as long as they could to keep them from using it, I think. That is a massive grab, 8.1 million. Though, honestly, with what we saw on the dog tag extract, that should put them neck and neck with Team Squidward.
Yeah, so you're talking...
5.8 plus 4.6 about to leave, and they had 8.1. They were almost 0 on the last one. So they'll still be behind with that 8.1, but now Squidward actually has to make considerations in game 3.
They can't just run away with it.
And that's good news for everybody else in the lobby, because if two teams are now sort of aware of each other, they have to play like any team could be that team, right? So that changes sort of their... Man, things really are falling apart up here. That changes the way that things, I think, really are going to function for a lot of the teams here in Group B, which is great news if you're one of the teams on the chase. Because if it had gone Squidward's way again, I think things get really wonky when we go back to Space City with the way the extracts work there. Sounds like we have an interview. I'm not sure who it's going to be with, Thornton, so let's find out.
Hello.
Stomped from, am I saying it correctly? Is it Mate and Factura?
Yeah.
Excellent. So we got Stomped joining us. Welcome, my friend. 2 games in. What do you think so far?
Well, it's going pretty well. I think it's great.
Yeah.
We have a problem in the first match where I had banned. I don't know why. I think it was a problem with the VPN, but we're doing pretty well so far.
What from you guys would you say has been the biggest challenge? What's been the most difficult?
I don't really know what to say. We are a team that has a really good firepower, so we're pretty sure that we can fight and beat everyone. But the biggest issue probably right now is the ping, because we're from Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, and we are playing like an 140 ping. That's probably the biggest issue right now.
So maybe you could be ping abusers. Let me ask this: you're using gear tickets to get your items. Are you guys leaning towards firepower, balance, or defense?
Right now, that's the tactic, but right now we're playing one with firepower. That's me. I'm going to Auchi. And we're running 2 with the, I think it's the balance. No, it's the protective one, I think. That one with the chest repair.
Excellent. Thicker armor. Awesome. Lawler, any questions for him before I ask a final?
The only thing I have that I really want to know, is there a specific strategy that you guys think you're going to take into now that you have your first map exposure with these lobbies? Is there something different you really want to make an adjustment? By all means, you don't have to give away too much strategy because I know people are listening.
Yeah, no. Right now, our strategy is to kill everyone. Race is the worst strategy. The last map we stacked because I loot an item like 4 million items. We stuck with that, but the main strategy is to kill everyone and head out with minimal loot. But if we kill everyone, then we have the advantage.
Nice. Let me ask this should be easy. What is one tip that you could give to a new player downloading Delta Force for the first time after watching this for operations?
Don't be afraid of losing here. Probably is the biggest tip, because a lot of people are so afraid to fight that you don't get better if you don't take those fights. Just play, have some fun, and watch some streamers that play better than you and try to copy them.
Copy some streamers. I love that. Last chats, anything you want to say to your fans or anybody viewing? Any shout outs? You want to plug your team streams or anything like that? Go ahead and do so.
Nah, I have a lot of people supporting me, a lot of friends, so thank everyone to see. And let's see if we can win this. There's too much ahead, so let's do it.
2 matches ahead and the finals. I hope to see you there. Good luck. Get back in the fray. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem. I love the tip, this idea that don't be afraid. And that is one thing I can tell you from extraction shooters across the board. The worst boss is the inventory boss. He takes far more gear from you than anything else does. If you leave that piece sitting in there and it never gets used, it will never be lost, but it will never be valuable. That was a great interview. I loved the insights. I also loved how close to the chest they were keeping everything, Adam. It was very much like I don't think you need to know these things.
Yeah, I think the reality is because this is the first time, if they have something that is working really well for them, it's like, by all means, I get it, man. You want to continue to double down on that strategy without giving it away. I mean, you hear the strategies and the tips as well. Like, the reality is, I think exposure to this applies to not only your first timers, hey man, I know you're going to end that RPG with 10 million potions in your inventory. You were just saving for the right moment. This is that reality. You need to use the guns that you have. Same thing for these guys. It is a first time. You have to trial by fire and see what works. For them, I think they're pretty happy with their current strategy. But will that continue as everybody else is trying to make those adjustments? That's what we have to wait and see.
Yeah, exciting to find out. And for those of you who are watching at home, who may not be as up to date on that, we will walk you through sort of what he means by why those loadouts are different after we go through the Group B results. Remind me to come back to that, Adam, so we can talk a little bit about the different valuation on armor and bullets and how they interact with each other on those kits. Now, match number 2, semifinals, Group B. Mate and Factura that we just talked to walked away with almost $8.1 million. The problem is Team Squidward also pulled in 3.9, and then the bigger problem is, once again, everyone else gets nada.
Yeah, the reality is this is a 2-horse race at the midpoint, but the same thing can happen on the other side, right? So, again, when we do this, it does feel pretty neutral for the guys at the top. Originally, we're like, yo, if Squid and the boys keep doing what they're doing, it's going to get ugly real quick, especially if they're going, hey, go extract, we're going to go play defense. This didn't work out. We talked about it being a crucial moment in that pivot point. We now are basically all tied up. So, again, we've got a 2-horse race, but if they can do it in 2 rounds, so can everybody else. Not over yet.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, they're going to be watching those kill feeds, looking for those knocks. Other teams may try to react when they see a top team has been hurt, because if you can wipe them and you get yourself 15 minutes of free looting, you're back in this thing. So Group A standings, let's look at all the groups after the last one and where they are after 2 games. 7.2 million for Demon Esports. The Comeback Kids, who we saw do so well in the last game, are going to get themselves 6 million. So very, very close. And then a huge fall off. It seems like we're seeing this in a lot of the lobbies where top 2, top 3, because of the way that the fighting works and the few extractions are really taking those pole positions, are going to be impossible to catch.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is you've got, based upon the way that people spawn in, usually 3 to one side, 3 to the other. Both have their ringer squad, right? So you have the favorite out of the 3, the other favorite out of 3. If there is engagement at the tail end, like we did see just a little bit ago with Stomp to the boys, that's when you start to see that mix up. Now, unless those 2 intersect each other, or we see like an early engagement that catches somebody off guard, very unlikely. But as you and I have seen in many other titles, whether it be PUBG, Apex, or otherwise, some people are going to force that issue. People are going to have to change their strategy because they've got to make up. They play riskier, they play more aggressive, which can most definitely catch you off guard, or it'll double down. It'll actually be twice as bad for you and even better for the other team. Sometimes that does happen.
I mean, but I think that's the strategy here, is if you're hitting game 3 in a tournament where only one team advances and you see any of those 6 names, you have to go after them, right? You have to take that risk. Now, this is a little more contested. We're joining Group C for the 3rd match. Exciting, because they are, well, I shouldn't say a little closer. There are 3 teams with money. That said, Endless does seem to have the lion's share of that cash with 8.2 million. Bit of a drop-off to Eclipse, and then, you know, Pilatos, they're almost at $1 million, so that's cool. But it only takes one game.
In any other context, you'd be like, almost $1 million. Oh my god!
Oh my goodness, you're buying a house.
We're like, meh. Well, maybe not.
Right. Well, you must. Okay, I know where you live. Out here in the Midwest, there's plenty of space. Let's look at Group D right now, and it is going to be Tropa de Miguero in the top still, though Anonymous Killas did gain, as well as Merc. Both of those teams gain on that match. So Group D does look like it continue to be relatively closer when we get to that game. That'll be where we're spending our final round of tonight watching Group D. So do remember, stick around. That last game I think is going to be pretty close, and it will also be ending up on Breckish, so another good map to see fight out. Group East, what the... Hold on, I gotta process this. Is that 11 million?
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers, man. No commas. Just take it in. Just take it in. Again, when you're talking about the ability to assert dominance, I will say, again, 8 million, that's enough to put Cream Team back over the top. We saw that it is possible. Some of the loot that has been dropping can definitely make or break a game. So, depending on how they play it, whether they want to put it in a bush and try to remember where that bush is later, or if they want to just run away with it, a lot of things. But as we take a look at the overall standings, man, it's the top two still in 1-2.
Adam said the Cream Team is going to hide it in a bush. The top two teams are E-Zone and Squidward. Looking good with those kill counts as well, because that does seem where the tiebreaker might come into play, though I'll be honest, with valuations at this point, I don't see a value tie unless the craziest bit of math I've ever seen in my life happens. E-Zone looking so good. Team Squidward, though, has been, I think, battle-centric while also looking good strategically. So I'm curious to see. I'm hoping both of those squads, nothing against everybody else, I want to see them in like the grand final against each other because of the way they strategically play. However, 2 more games to go. Teams have made it through with 0 points to this stage, but could bounce back. 8.1 million from Mate and Factura in the last game tells us that there is still a very good chance for teams to have a big grow up here as we head back to Space City on the next match. Vayne going to be our top killer with 6 so far, and Devo right behind him.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reality too is despite all this different strategy, different approaches, different loot and extractions, people are able to shoot their shots, man. Everybody out there is fragging. It's all super close. Usually in a couple lobbies, especially when there's qualifiers and stuff, there is that one guy that's like, okay, we know who's the top dog. But I think it's a very good thing to see that everything is pretty neck and neck.
Now, you're also going to notice a couple of these teams have these players like Sing Sing leaving with huge valuations. That's because they've been doing stacks where they stack money onto one player and send them out early or keep them in the back of the fight so that they're not exposed or lost if things go south. And I think we're seeing that, a good example is there. Sing Sing is the number one, or Sing Song is the number one value maker. Vayne was the number one killer, right? So they're kind of clearly setting up a strategy to keep that money on the back line. Now, match 3 is about to start in just a little while. We're going to be heading to Space City and joining Group 3 for the action there. Now, Space City last time was interesting. It had some pretty slow moments, but I think part of that's just there's not a lot of extracts. And if you want to take the helicopter, which most of our teams seem to want to, there's a lot of places to camp those switches.
Yeah, I think we did see a couple choke points like we saw in the middle in that core area in I think it was Black Chamber possibly, or maybe it was Buoyancy Lab. It was one of those two. But again, I think you're going to start to see either some of those choke points be more contested. I think people, now that they've had their first exposure to what these maps are going to look like, the ability to actually say, okay, early extraction if we can, maybe we find one of that ticket item and we just get you out immediately. We guarantee that base level. And then play a bit, campy, a bit defensive. Anything to really separate ourselves, because for Group C, like, it is a lot closer than what we've seen of others. So I think, again, I don't think there's an optimal strategy found just yet. It is too circumstantial, but
we're in.
I'm excited to find out, man. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how we get our first exposure, I will say.
Our first exposure. Now, okay, so quick, let's do some quick stuff while we wait for this team to fight out. 3 extracts on Space City. Helicopter is 2 switches that are guarded. Rocket launch takes 15 minutes before you can even try to activate it. And the last one is a no backpack extract, which means your valuation falls off, which in this mode, not optimal. So in this one, unlike Brackish, where they were able to teams could send players out with valuation, this one you kind of have to fight your whole crew out. There's not a lot of chances for one guy to slip away unless you find just some crazy item that you can somehow fit in your kit, your chest kit, and slide out no backpack, which I think would be a very, very big long shot. So let's check in with our players. They're going to move a lot slower. Everyone knows this is where the rubber meets the road, and you need to make the push for the end game. You've got to play well here if you're not one of the top 2 teams.
Yeah, I was trying to take a peek at where everybody's situated so far. Up at the top, I'm pretty sure that is. I'm not. I don't even want to butcher that name, man. Batatias.
Batatias is in third right now, I think. They don't have any evaluations. Endless, Pilatos, and Silent are our top 3 teams out of this group.
Bata, I'm pretty sure is 4 right now.
4.
4 right now. They are.
With, I think, 2 kills.
Yes.
So they have been a little bit, I mean, honestly, a little bit outmatched. In the last match, they were 4th with 2 kills. And I think trying to play the keep-up game here, which has been a little tricky for them.
Yeah, I think, again, they have a lot of opportunity depending on which way they want to go, but you're already noticing it. Obviously, we got our picture-in-picture here on the left-hand side. Just holding those angles, making sure that they're not really giving away anything. I think patience is really good at the beginning. Even though there's no one nearby, why not take a couple extra seconds? Oh, just kidding. It looks like we're going to have an engagement, and immediately Silent is going to get put down.
They're in the lead. They have a good spot on leaderboard. They can try to play a little more aggressive. They're going to come out right away looking to get into this fight. All right, looks like they're going to go for the doorway. Oh, I like this flank move by Lin.
Oh, that could have been in trouble.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Link had the right idea. Again, wrapping wide and holding that angle. If it was a little bit sooner, might have been able to catch 2 on the rotation, but again, when you're expecting to go through the catwalk, straight through that front door, and you get met by a bunch of bullets, decision-making changes a little bit there.
Yeah. I'm unfamiliar with the team that we are up against right here.
This is Endless, potentially, with Kurai.
Kurai, that'll be endless then.
And we kind of mentioned it. Again, it might swap based upon the spectator update, because it does pick up a little bit behind. But I talked about being patient at the beginning, right? Like, just hold your angles and wait for it. And lo and behold, the team literally walks into your trap. So paying off for them, but now they got to find a way to capitalize. We've seen too many times engagements happen, and they let them get a revive and out, and it's kind of all for naught. So
look at this spot. All right, they're going to go ahead and they're clearing those corners using the grenades. Very smart. Meanwhile, nice spray from Link again. They just cannot cross this bridge, man.
oh, what an angle. That is a cheeky angle, being able to kind of do that inverse peek.
I don't recognize any of the purple names. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Voter barely made it around that corner.
Now, I mentioned a little bit ago, talking about the different bullets, the different gear, balance versus power, but unfortunately, it's not going to matter. Link again being on the receiving end. Silent needs to be careful, because it's going to be an aggressive push. They understand they have a numbers advantage now. Can they find this last player? Got shots in the back end, probably pinged, and now the rest of the team going to be in pursuit. Got to be quick about it. Does find an angle to hold. Will it come back?
Wow. Accuracy through volume, my friend.
Hey, he's able to get one, but now need to be careful.
Ooh.
Got one pushing from one side, one from the other.
He's still 3/4 health. All of that. Oh, never mind.
Well, too soon.
Yep, spoke too soon. They burned through all of the gear, and now he is left behind. So that will be, I believe, the end of one of our Silent, which is one of our top 3 teams right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see, again, when everything catches up and we kind of see who's eliminated through like an overview, we can give you guys better insight on that. But I don't want to give you guys 100% without being confident in it. So 2 teams on the other side here. This is, I think both of these were on top of each other at the initial period. So
Gotcha, okay.
about time they kind of
So those close boys that eliminated Silent, for what it's worth. Pilatos on the defense. Eclipse on the push.
I'm surprised they're still going for this angle. Like, we just saw his teammate take a grenade to the face, and he's like, my turn. Good job checking the flank, too. And don't want to tunnel vision too hard. Got plenty of people holding that angle.
Chico Treva. So this is OS Batatinas.
Weeps in
Do you
chat. He
speak
goes,
Spanish?
"You bet."
I got nothing. You bet.
It's like I love grenades for breakfast. Like, ooh, sorry,
day.
brother. I didn't mean to.
Trying to hold that angle. They got to come in here. We said there'd be a lot more choke point play this time around, and it seems like this is the second fight in a row that's been just choke point.
Yeah, it's like you want the numbers advantage because obviously you want to either go for the trade or make sure that all your shots are focused on the same person for a quick wipe. But at the same time, it's like, okay, does one try to rotate through? Yeah, you got to do some walking, and it's going to take a while. But like, you know, how long is this fight going to blow out? Also, smoke and push. How do you want to play? How aggressive do you want to be?
I mean, that's the beauty of that arrow, man. Everything else is on cooldown. You just toss out that electricity.
Oh, it delays so well.
So well. It's just how long? I mean, you got 22 minutes for this fight if you need to. It just seems like a waste of time. 2.2 million over there on the other squads who are being allowed to loot at their leisure. I believe that is endless. That's out there just making money.
January and Crew, I think is the name that I saw. So.
Yep. So that would be endless. There we go. Perfect. See, we can figure it out.
Reading's hard.
Mm-hmm. Reading is hard.
Told
Nice.
you, man. Colors, reading. I'm a numbers guy. That's about it. That's all I got. I didn't do well with arts and crafts. English class was not my specialty.
No push with that good arrow out. And yet you talk so good.
So it's all a ruse.
It's all a ruse. I respect that. Ooh.
It's a little whack.
Yeah, fine. I guess I'll heal again. Dev to myth. Ooh.
Dev, what are you doing?
He's running, man. You know how it is. Eclipse out here just getting cash.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at our squads on the top right, just trying to see how things are going up.
Yep.
It's like you've got that one team that's been totally left alone. That's to my knowledge, that's the Bata team.
Mm-hmm.
That's just been looting up the main facility here in core.
Yep. Then we be able to like pull extracts from anybody else even notices what's going on over here. Oh, this is the flank. He was flanking.
The difficulty about flanks too is like you're trying to move in quickly. Oh god.
Yep.
Wait, just let it be, bro. The first time I
Right.
was like, I get it. You're trying to like hold that angle. That one is just like, you know what? Let's maybe peek from the right side.
Right? I love grenades. All right, he's getting ready for the smoke push.
Dude.
Nice, nice.
Love that.
Good angle. He knew where the stairs were. That was finesse.
Now you got to preemptively nade that corner.
He's gonna. Yep. He uses the scout arrow in response. Get a flash up and running.
It's a lot of damage taken. That's dangerous.
They're in. They're in. The call came from inside the
All
house.
right, now they get, okay, so different angles you can approach from different ways, but again, they're holding that angle really well.
Oh, I like that.
There's another nade. Weep's favorite. Poor guy. He's just being
Right.
bullied by me and those grenades.
He's
I'm
like,
so
I
sorry,
got
bro."
first aids. It's cool, bro. Oh, that's a knock. They're not gonna push off the back of it. All right. No, that hold angle's strong.
Well, he's got another one behind him to his right. His teammate's a little over to the left. So your teammate, I think that's Monkey.
he comes.
Monkey's holding the entry point. God, it's a
Isn't
great
always
shot.
work that way. The second you switch off of your scope.
Oh,
that's
no,
when
it's
they
actually going to
peek
get
you.
him.
No.
Oh, the shot
That's a good-
so
I mean-
good, man.
Luna's been super unexpected MVP of this event. I don't think we get much Luna at all, to be honest. I'm gonna go play my Luna after this. Uh-oh, he's down to one player left.
Too flush. This could be
Come on,
unfortunate.
Dev.
Dev's either got to find a way to hold, but you know they're going to aggressive push this.
He fake ran away. He fake ran away. He got one.
No.
He reloaded. Unfortunate.
Good
Well, you
attempt,
fought
too.
nobly. They did. You guys fought noble. Well done, Eclipse. But your son has been blocked.
Yeah, I mean, kudos where it's done,
Darkness
right?
has
Like,
fallen.
again, the initial push wasn't there. You still stick around. You don't give it up for free because, again, as soon as you get bullied off of that, like, what's next? So, I like the commit. Smoke was good. Did manage to get in, but usually you want someone to take that line peek too. So, going all the way up against that wall to the left and then being able to hold down that angle, it just makes
I
it
think
free.
I think not having secondary smokes hurt them a lot.
Yeah,
right? You
that's
had
it.
that one solid smoke entry, but the cooldown is so long on Stinger's drone. And you don't have any secondary smokes coming out of like the 2 or 3 other heroes that can, or operators that can do that. So I think that's, again, it's just about position control in this game, because if you can't use the shock arrows, they use smokes, they use grenades, and they just held them. There's nothing that they could do really to get in there. That Luna, because that Luna was the grenades and the shock arrows. So keep in mind that, guys. Like, that was an incredibly powerful operator for that hold. Okay, what do you take? No, you take it.
Like a weird hokey pokey situation going down.
The loot disco.
Still
All right,
holding this angle.
Leshrac. Let's see. This is Pilatos. PL. Nice, thank you. Hole in the angle. Up against Los Boys, right? Los Boy. LB. Perfect. Thank you for putting that on your names, guys.
We saw this angle earlier as well.
You don't feel like it's too boxed in?
That's a tough thing. Yeah, you were gonna have to get. I don't know if you have a big enough scope for this, man. I think you need a bigger one.
It's not about the size of this. Never mind. Yeah, you need a bigger scope.
Yeah.
He goes, my scope's not big enough for this.
He's like,
and
hold up,
runs
let me
away.
back up 100 yards so I can take a shot.
Yep. Oops. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Now that scope I can get behind.
That's a goodie.
3x. If you guys don't are getting new to the game, you can also tune your scopes in Modify, so you can actually add it a little extra, like 0.25 to your zooms on a lot of these things and customize them the way that you want. There's new maps coming. There's a new mode for single player, all in January. Patch updates soon, so make sure you guys get over to Steam and download the game and join the Discord community. Why wouldn't you? There's literally no reason not to. It's a great game. Oh, I thought he had him.
Even new too.
I bet he wishes he had that other scope, eh?
Yeah, for Saxon too. You saw the player jump across. You had the information. Again, teammates got to come in. So you do have. It looks like, is that Shark?
Okay.
Yeah, LeSharks is going to be coming in from that other side. So again, saw the information jump across again. Sometimes still got to land a shot. It's a difficult angle. God, what a pre-fire.
All right. Back to super. Oh, he was like, hey, bring the scope in. I heard there's a guy that's peeking over here.
Yeah,
Teamwork.
it's all about taking that different angle too. Like the problem is, like, you've been peeking from the same spot. That person's more than happy to just hold
Right.
that point. Like, again, you've got to push through there anyway. We saw Silent have a really big difficulty of getting out of this in the initial fight. So at this point, if you could find a different angle, if you can find a place to peek from somewhere else, like I do like the fact that Sharks here does have such a big scope that they can go further back if they need to. But you're talking about drop off and everything else. LPS should be fine though.
Yeah. I mean, I think my challenge with Space City is this is a map for extraction that's a little counterintuitive to most extraction experience. Because of the lack of extracts, there is no such thing as like walking away is a better part of Valor, right? You have to take these fights. You have to go in there. You have to control this platform. And right now, we're going to be looking in on, is this Endless is going to be holding down this platform. You saw him doing a little bit of loot disco earlier, looking pretty good, I think, because they were able. That was the team that we saw out there just looting for a while without much contest whatsoever.
Yeah, not really any congestion for them as well. There's been a couple teams, so like you said, the Rockets at 15 minutes, I think you can call it in. So about at that point, he's going to see somebody going across the bridge. Already pointed out here by Pilatos. So curious if they can pick anything up. It's been difficult. Obviously, they've been kind of pushed down, but good to see their third person enter the fray.
Yeah. All right. Pilatos going to keep moving forward here. Much jiggle peeking was had that day.
I mean, I'm not sitting still.
No, absolutely not. 2 teams down, still 4 teams in the map. We should see that reduced soon. You can hear that the The beep that every player knows. Someone sees it.
Now the difficulty and something that
Ooh.
I'm just recognizing now. If that is true, and it is Blottos with only 2 players left,
Yep.
they have 3K.
Yep.
3.
3.
That's not gonna cut it.
No. No. But you know, they'd like to get out of one. I think it's been a rough day for Pilatos. So the last game they had. Actually, no, they got 962,000 in the last game, so they are still a long shot from first, but survival is paramount. Loot, shoot, and scoot, as they say.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like, okay, you play this little passive. If extraction comes in, you can play spoiler. Like, turn the tides.
Yep. And this is where we saw the chaos last time too. A little nano scout.
And that's usually when I'm going when I play extraction. It's like I want to play aggressive, so it's like I just scout in full send. It's like, okay, nothing's here.
Yep. Yeah,
Go
he didn't hit
for it,
anything.
push,
Hope for the best.
Next, yeah. Sometimes it definitely comes back to bite, but risk reward is definitely I think the way to go. It's like if you play this confidently, I think you have to, especially with such small points. But unfortunately, we see one go down here. That might have been, if the colors are consistent, one of the Pilatos players.
Yep, that was a nice. It was a nice counter shot. So the helicopter is coming down. More bad guys. Yay. Monkey. Batatinas.
I'm just going with Bata. Bata sounds great.
Yep. Or Tinhas. Bata sounds great. All right, still a shocking amount of teams in this map.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the mini map too, although it doesn't say mini right now. Oh, just kidding. Now it is.
There it is.
Poor timing on my part, but
It's a little map now.
a lot of people again. We see kind of navigating the northeast of the map over by like printing room and everything. So, despite that, like I think what's crazy about Space City is while there is a lot of open area, it's also very congested at the same time. Like getting from zone to zone is like, I don't want to be out in the open. This is terrible. But when it comes to the fights, everything's been pretty clustered.
All right, it looks like we're crossing the bridge. They're headed for space. This is Bata. It looks like they're going to be headed over there, but I think it's already Endless camped out there. So that'll be a conflict. Meanwhile, January is from Endless, trying to hold teams from pushing over.
Don't think they got any vision on that.
No, they're just doing like a fight and fade here, which I think is great. Kind of
They
trying to
have a
slow
knock,
down
so they
that
gotta be
push.
careful. Yeah, if they're gonna push, now's the chance to, especially as those cooldowns go down. They know they have a knock, so yeah, you gotta find a way to take cover. High ground on that peak on the left side wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'll tell you what, Los Boy this has been a really good push.
Yeah, it's very decisive. I like the fact that they're like, all right, we got a knock, push up, spread out.
Yep.
And good shots. Actually down to half health.
That was a nice shot. Shows a lot of faith in each other to make those plays. So we're gonna see a bit of a relocate by Kuzo. Quick replay. Nice spray. A spray so nice, we saw it twice. And Los Boys gonna continue to climb up. Cujo has been playing incredible non-stop defense for a while now. Ooh.
Just trying to think through the crates. Again, doesn't feel like much, but quick bandage.
He's getting a little help from the NPCs though. You know, that helicopter brought in some backup, at least slowed down the push from Los Boy.
I think too, it also helps with the engagement and the vision a little bit. Oh, he is gonna speak. Oh, what a
zoomer angles!
What a find. That's huge too.
Big time.
Again, what
Nicely
felt like,
done.
you know, against all odds type of moment, it's like a little bit of confidence starts to seep in. Maybe it's like, you know what, I can pull this out. So
Oh, this is Batitinias. He's got 2 teams that are trying to steal his location.
Yeah. So there's one
That's
over here on
important.
the left. Again, pro
Yeah.
against that barrier, trying to go for the revive. Crawled away, so should be able to get that back up. And then he's got one right below him, too.
What are you doing? Jogging. Come on, teammate. Are they playing opposite sides of the map right now? Yeah, because like Cujo's all the way over there and Kurai's right here.
Yeah.
What a wild split. So they're each holding off their own team. That's great. Ahead of time. All right, he wants out. He wants out.
At this point, too, if you're at a disadvantage, you've got to force the issue.
Yeah. They know he's got to be stacked up if he's sitting on an extract.
I mean, even if he's not stacked up at this point, you're in a 1v3, you know you're at a disadvantage. Like, I'm just going to force the issue. Like, you come to me either way.
Yep. Oh, I wouldn't be
not a
searching
time to
that
look,
right
man.
now,
Not a
bro.
time to
Not a
look.
time to look. God, I love that greed, though. Yeah. Fair, it worked out. Who am I to judge? 6 minutes. What's the time on the extract? It's got to be down to about 3 minutes left.
Oh, what a push.
What? Monkey. Okay, so Cujo was trying to come in to join on this extract and he got caught collapsing.
Yeah. I think it's, again, it's difficult because it's like you still want to play passive and a little patience, but you're trying to help out and bail out your teammates. So it's like you're just forced to go, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, I think their goal was
problematic.
always, and you know, we'll talk, if we get a chance to ask, we'll ask. I think the idea was he was going to stay back and just try to, you know, give that backstab, moved a lot of loot to the extractor, and sent him out with the rocket. So they should walk out with, I think that was like 3.6 mil on that player.
Yeah. Still pretty
So
close.
we'll take that, especially because Endless also, I think, they made like 4.2 million on the last game, so they should be in pretty good shape. Remember, all that matters at this point is being the #1 team in your group with 1 game left to play. So I do think that's one of those where we're going to see teams sacrificing players, splitting their money, going to different spots, and you see Kurai is just going to hold this position. We saw a backstab in a second from Cujo. He wasn't able to stay alive, but it delayed them long enough for Kurai to get out.
I mean, he did his job, right? Like, his
Yep,
whole purpose to
100%.
be there is to come in and be a nuisance, delay a little bit, so his teammate can get out with 3
Yep.
mil. Like, I'll take
Yep,
that trade
exactly.
any day of the week.
All day, especially a tournament like this. That you sacrificing yourself may be a few grand in our bank account. So, good job.
And, like, what better way to
Bye-bye.
Look at that. Like, come on.
You really rocketed it.
Guys, I gotta go.
Yep.
It's been a
Yeah,
good
right.
time. Appreciate you all.
See ya. See ya. Look at them. Now they're like, now what do we do?
Yeah. Can you imagine,
man.
like, real life? You'd be like, what are we supposed to do? He left in a spaceship,
He,
bro.
he left. Wasn't that rocket not here when we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, it landed and he bounced. He paid $3 million for that ride. Seems cheap.
What's the going rate for a trip to space nowadays, you know?
I'll bet I could actually find it.
What's it
Eric.
cost to go to
Are you Googling now?
space?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it cost
Take
to
a
go to
guess.
space?
Just take a
Your
guess.
My soul?
Yeah.
I'll bet the actual price is 4.6 million.
You wish.
Is that cheap?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a suborbital flight,
Oh, that's not bad.
but upwards of 50 million for full orbital to International Space Station.
Well, you never go full orbital.
Are you really going to space if you don't go full orbital?
I don't know. I mean, I think just in the atmosphere is still something. Just the atmo for the price difference. Cash me on a low orbit, okay? I'm just saying.
For 3 low payments.
For 3 low payments, you too can low orbit. The dreams. All right. I just spilled soda on myself. Don't drink soda, please. Okay. 2 teams left. The poor Pilatos have to now cross back over.
Oh, God.
They're like, we really wanted that rocket, man.
I don't know, marathon both ways, and they're like, all right, at least we're together in this one.
At least we're together.
There's still a team. Like, it's been a trip for these boys in round 3.
I mean, I feel like part of it is because they've been playing deathmatch, whereas like Endless has been playing extraction.
Well, I mean, both teams still got like what? I'm trying to think. So they have their 3K. Oh, there you go.
Wow.
All time that scope
That's
came in
that
handy.
scope. He's like, this is why I picked it.
I mean, dude, it's 2-shot. We were talking about this
Yeah.
off camera before. I think it was yesterday, right? Where the SVD were like, dude, if someone gets their hands on it,
Yep.
like 2 shots down.
With the right scope. And
Yeah.
man, can you imagine if you opened an ammo box and found yourself some like orange? Just like everything changed for the good. All right, here we go. Pushing the stairs time, baby.
Good smokes, couple pre-fires. Oh, what an angle. Eddie's only. Able to get away with murder.
2 minutes, 3 minutes left to get this extraction done. Oh, no.
Oh, what a huge nade. Again, you can't go up zip. I'm trying to remember if there's a way up on the other side, and if it is, it's probably going to take a little bit too long, but
Yep.
they should be able to get those to revive off. I do think Busets does have the ability to hold.
Oh, I love that
Double
push.
That's a great way to do it. Now's your chance to close it out. They're not going to be able to get the heal off.
Oh,
There's
no.
one. Can they find the other?
There
They
it is.
do. Well played.
Now loot fast. So the upside of them stopping that push is it bought them time to be able to go ahead and grab as much loot as they can off of those guys. So that will buy them a little bit of space here before the extract to try to get their valuation up significantly. Already at 3.1, but with only 2 minutes left, they've got to make that push over.
Yeah, last one. We're going to see this final push yet again. So again, we have the 2v1. They're able to peek from the high side, and then the teammate again covers his other side angle as well. The only reason that was possible is because the double push on the person down that initial line.
Yep.
So again, we dug on the scope a little bit. Comes back in handy with SVD. 2-tap, drop
Yep.
one down. Pretty well done.
I also think you got to put a little bit of clout. So we watched that play, and I think the way that worked is these teams have talked to us about their strategies that they're using when they pick. Because remember, it's gear tickets they're using.
Right.
Somebody's picking up a defense gear ticket. Whoever jumped up on top of that train was wearing at the minimum a purple, okay? And they absorbed a bunch of blue bullets and bought space for whoever it was that bought firepower to peek around them. They used him as cover. It was actually pretty impressive to go out there and make those plays, because when you talk about armor and bullet interactions, that's what this game is about. Extraction shooters in general are games about bullets. Every gun that you build is simply a way to get a higher value bullet more accurately to its target while spending less money. That's the key to extraction. Put the most expensive bullet in the cheapest gun and hit your target every single time, and you will win. And so I think that the teams are using that strategy really, really cleanly here. And that, I think, is kind of the beauty of the gear tickets for this event, is it takes away that everyone's meta'd out of their freaking mind, and you have to sort of think around corners a little bit. That's where our teams are thriving.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like the assessment period after. Like we talk about this from day to day, and obviously we're going to see the teams from semifinals to grand finals, where it's like the cream of the crop all competing at once. But I think the real test is when we start to see, okay, let's take a step back. How did event one go? What adjustments can we make? Competitors,
Yes.
did you have enough gear tickets? Was this too many? Should we favor this in a certain different way? Do you think we should prioritize providing you this thing versus that? I think there's a lot of really cool things that we can do to really I guess min-max the optimal way to play private servers. So it's gonna be an evolution, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. We are getting in at the ground floor, and I guarantee you it's not a stairwell to the top, it's a zip line. The future is bright. Right now the games are great, and we've got one more match to play when we come back after this short break.
Come on. Almost there.
Admit defeat, rookie. Give it to me.
What? Don't even think about it. You don't know what you're doing. No. Give it back.
How dare you look down on me! Give it to me!
Looks like it's my turn.
All right, welcome back. You got a little bit of a sneak peek at that video for the new, I believe, the Mandelbrick skin that's going to be coming out in the next season. Pretty excited about that. Also, a reminder, they imply it with that sort of promo. There's mobile version of this game that can allow you to do things like manage your black site while you're away from home. So you want to make a little extra cash, keep that ammo processing while you're at work on the mobile version. So lots of options to play. Lots of great ways to experience the game. You can download it right now and get in the mix. We got new patches, new seasons coming later in January, and so you're going to want to be around and ready for that. Also, join the Discord to find groups whenever you need them. My name is Toffees. That is Adam, or so I am told, and we are getting into game number 4 shortly. But first, let's go over the results from Group C Game 3. Adam.
Yeah, pretty exciting one here. We were talking about what was it going to look like the second time back. Are we going to see some adjustments? And the difficulty is we probably did, but we saw new teams, so we don't know necessarily. What we do know is Endless on top, 3.6 mil in the bank. No kills to show for it, but it doesn't matter. We did see that hero play at the end, Toffees. Hey, you're on a rocket, 1v3. What can I do? I'm gonna beeline there. I'm gonna take some cover fire. It didn't matter. And they took him out.
And that was what Cujo sacrificed himself to make Karai get out. He got out with 3.6 million, which is insanely good. And on top of that, the team that they held because of that backstab, Pilatos, never even made it to the extract. They got 0 off of the back of that game. So because they were held off and they had a massive transition to try to get through, they got locked out and weren't able to use a second extraction. So again, that is just really beautiful play, I think, by in particular Endless, knowing that they were ahead, knowing that they had to manage the money to get to the grand final, and doing a really good job of it. Now let's go over all of the standings so far as we head into our last game of the day. Remember, the top team from each group will advance to the grand finals in 2 days' time. Group A, Comeback Kids. Looks like they may be getting the pass.
12 million and a little bit of change, and very consistent across the board. I think that's the big difference. Is everybody in there obviously able to frag out, but also still has the ability to loot at the same time. In Group B, though, the favorites, we did see Mate and Factura. We even interviewed Stomped a little bit, but Team Squidward, 19 kills, 13.6 million on top Toffees. That is a lot of value.
I mean, Mate and Factura got 8 million off of the game that we watched, so that, you know, that isn't, how much money is that? I can't even count these numbers. Anyway, they got that off that one game. The next game, again, in comes Squidward, and they do incredible plays. Now let's talk about Group C standings. We just finished with them. Endless up in front with a massive lead over their nearest competitor. I think it's pretty safe to say with one game left, Endless should be able to advance here. Yeah,
at the end of the day, I look at Lost Boy and I go, wow, okay. You guys do know how to click heads, but can you click and manage your inventory? That's the focus.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. Again, the guy is super talented. Has been absolutely pulling the trigger and dominating on that regard. 1.3 on his own, but needs to find a way to loot up a little bit more, find those little juicy items that can be worth like 3.7. And then last but not least, Group D, obviously the one that we're going to be focusing in on next and one to be paying attention to. We've got a really close fight between Tropa and Merc.
Yep.
2 names to keep your eyes out on.
And Anonymous Killers, if they have one of those 8 million games, could be back in the hunt should people go down. But that is going to be a 2+1 way race in Group D, which we will be following for our last match of the day. I do believe we still have another group to go over. Yeah, so Group E, the final group that we are not going to be covering on stream. And as of now, I'm okay with that because E-Zone has almost 20 million. They have 5, 6, 12, 18, more than 3 times the earnings of their number 2 team.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a little bit. You know, they're doing okay.
And a lot of kills.
You know, I'm not too
killing
impressed, right? Like,
good lord.
It's whatever. Yeah, that's pretty nuts, actually. It's actually insane. Yeah, E-Zone, I feel like we're going to be seeing them in the grand finals as we look at the overall standings. This is everybody across the board. The big thing to pay attention to, again, we've got 4, technically 5 groups. The top person or top team in every single group is going to be the one advancing to our grand finals in 2 days' time on the 11th. Hopefully you guys come back and join us for that. But again, you're looking at these teams and look at the ones that are a little bit closer. So A&A has a bit of a gap. D&D, though, the one that we're going to be tuning into next, 8 versus 9 kills, which I think is our tiebreaker. But you're only talking about a million 5 off from each other. It's going to come down the wire.
Don't write off Anonymous. D is the only group that's got 3 of their teams still in the top 10. So there is a chance Anonymous Killers could pull something out here. Now the question is, have they been grinding and getting out with 1 million each time, or did they have one game and a couple of bad ones? The good news for D is Brakesh is our final map. And so that, I feel like, is a little more open to different styles of play. There's more extraction options. Space City is a kerfuffle because you really are getting congested into these 2 exit locations, whereas Brakesh, I think, a lot more options for these teams as we go into this last round.
Yeah, a couple names to pay attention to. Obviously, in our top 2, number 1 for Merc, Schmeike has been mine. 1, because it's really fun to say, and 2, because I'm just biased. Shout out to Schmeike.
You know Schmeike?
No, I have no idea who Schmeike is, but I think his name's fun.
Nice. Curry Boy and Brawlers bringing up the rest of that roster. And now into the final match of the day. Let's go. We saw Unity running in all as one. There's a clan out of Brazil made up of Vichy, Quitted Boy, and Gear FPS.
Now, out of curiosity, obviously we got a couple people in chat that have been rooting for their teams. Out of curiosity for you guys, is there a certain team that you're rooting for or pulling for? Let us know what you guys have to be. Also, appreciate you guys all being here. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for rooting on your friends, family, compadres, whatever you want to call them. It is appreciated that you guys are tuning in with us as we step back into the action. It's the 4th and final match of the day. Baller and Toffees holding it down, and a lot more left to come. Obviously, we've got some loot in kind of the early phases here, Toffees. But what can people expect over the next 4 days here on the channel?
4 days. 4 days of chaos, fun, and gruesome entertainment. No, it's we are going to have 4 days of amazing action, 2 days of operations, but we're splitting them every other because tomorrow we come back and we are playing Havoc. It is going to be akin to Warzone, this idea of a point capture game. If you haven't played it, go try it. It's a free download, and it is a ton of fun. In fact, there's no better way to chill out after a rough night of operations than a awesome night of playing attack on Control. I don't like defense.
Dude, it's so much fun, man. Like, it is truly like a, hey, just spawn in and use those tickets. Ain't nobody gonna judge you, just play. And it's a really good way to get used to the mechanics.
I want to give a shout out to Blue-esque for his raid with 13 people. Love you, buddy. All right. Big push here. Nuke looks like he's trying to find an angle. Has to run from the grenade out. What a jump. Hardcore parkour, baby.
Starting and showing the moves.
What?
Unfortunately, gonna get put down and shutting up. As Unity holding on. Again, a good flush here, but need to be careful. Nuke trying to find a way through the window. Ends up coming through, but it doesn't matter. The 1v2. Able to secure another fight and aggressive as always. All or nothing we've been talking about. And at the tail end, it is Unity that stays on top.
Yo, that was some streamer push, okay? Like, that's
crazy.
the kind of
Jumping
guy...
through the window.
Right, that's the kind of guy who is used to having oranged out gear, incredible bullets, and is like, hey, man, if I hit this jump with a P90 and put 3 in his helmet, it's over. It was fun to watch. But Unity is going to come out with the lion's share of survival there. And I think all 3 up. They didn't get any. They were able to get everybody back up and running because it was still the first fight.
Yeah, even way with 1 down, as long as you can pick them all back up, he'll pick you and you'll get the next guy. Everybody's good to go. But something to pay attention to in the future. If that guy goes down, the only one who has his revive still available can be a bit problematic. So, things to pay attention to here. Obviously, Museum, heavily contested. It is the major point. But with that win early, there's nothing to go there with that other team. And they have this entire spot to loot on their own toffees.
I love killing those machine gunners, man. Blowing the helmet off and then hearing that scream when they fall over in the giant armor is just deeply rewarding.
Hey, man,
it's like you blow their helmet off and
goes a long way,
they're like,
man.
I'll still try to shoot you. And you kill them, they're like, oh. It's like you can hear the gas leaving their body as they fall in their giant armor. Do I hate them? Yes. Do I love killing them? Absolutely.
The death side goes hard, man. I'm just saying, like.
Right? Well, we were joking today. It's
let
like,
it out forever.
Well, what happened yesterday was like the first commercial for the game was like, death.
yeah. Dude, we
it was a promo.
We were
It
watching
opens
the
with
trailer
violence.
or whatever. Like everything was hype and all this stuff was cool. And it's like, check out these new skins. It's dope. And then it goes T for teen, blood, violence. And then it's like, whoa, calm
Guys,
down, man.
download right now. It's free. Bring your kids.
Yeah, it's a good time, man.
Oh shit, that was good though. It honestly though, it's been a ton of fun. Operation has been actually really entertaining, in my opinion. Even the slow moments have been very, very enjoyable. Now let's take a look at that mini map. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, today feels definitely like okay, strap in, serious like operation extraction. Tomorrow's like let's shoot each other and like run down these lanes. Like tomorrow, I think is going to be super conversational, back and forth, chilling, and just laughing at the crazy that happens. Like I expect some people to come out
in
and
a
just
6-pack
frag
tomorrow.
out, man. Like it's gonna be nuts.
Right? To get a little bottle of Balvenie.
I don't know if we're allowed
Just
to
sit
do
back
that.
and enjoy.
Can we do that?
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
I just started
No,
an
you're not.
Infinity. Oh god, I don't even know what's in there anymore.
Let's see, an Infinity. Ah.
Do you know what one of those are? Have you never one? What?
No, is that where you put the last of everything into a bottle?
Yeah, and then it basically just makes new flavors.
Makes sense.
It's insane, dude.
I used to do that with the soda machine at Pizza Hut when I was a kid.
All the leftover syrup, you're like, yeah, that goes in the same spot.
No, I just meant pushing all the buttons at the gas
I know.
station.
I'm just
Can you
kidding every
imagine?
time.
Yes, please add the Pepsi syrup to my Mountain Dew and see what happens.
No, I will say that, love or hate it, like, by all means, I'm not a McDonald's person, but their Sprite is spicier. I don't know what it is, man.
Oh, so I know what it is, and it may not be the time or the place, but apparently Coca-Cola has an independent contract with them to maintain their lines at a very specific temperature and pressure rating that is tuned by Coca-Cola and McDonald's to make the best soft drink.
I think I've really made it in life when I'm that rich where I can have that hookup at my own place.
Dude, I've heard it exists. I would be really like to have one, and I would probably die early because of it, but it's okay.
Worth it.
Right? A fountain in your house? That's how you know you made it.
Yeah, you know, like Mr. Deeds and his little like
Yes.
bubbler fountain thing. Oh my god.
Yep.
Wait, do you call it a drinking fountain or a bubbler? Because we call it a bubbler here.
Oh, no, it's a drinking fountain. What? You're from England?
No, I'm from Wisconsin.
You call it a... No, you don't.
Yeah,
I live in
bubbler.
Indiana. I don't...
Yeah,
you're
the,
right. No, they come through.
We're on
Those
a
people.
huge tangent, and I apologize to everybody in chat, and I hope you guys are okay with it because they're looting and stuff right now. But yeah, there's a company by the name of Kohler in Wisconsin, and Kohler, Wisconsin, and they were the ones that really distributed the drinking fountain, as you guys say it. Which there's no fountain. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but they branded them and called them bubblers. And
Interesting.
the like bubbling of the water coming out was how it came to be. So we just call them bubblers. Has been my whole life.
I still feel like there's a more you know rainbow about to pop
Oh
up
yeah.
across
I
the screen.
actually did the motion. I'm basically SpongeBob right now.
Speaking of Squidward, they'll be in the final. I know it's not Squidward, but it's close enough that I'm
Way to
enjoying
bring it back. Let's go.
Unity Clan Brazil. That's who we're looking at right now. Gear FPS. I stopped by his stream yesterday and I asked him, you had these accounts. Did you guys want to unlock operators? Did you use it? He went, no, I'm not letting anybody on my team touch the account. We think it would be dishonorable. We're going to play this thing with tickets. That was kind of cool.
Very respectful.
But I think that's also, but you got to love the beginning of an esport, right? Like these are players who are doing it because it's a passion. They are like, because they love it, right? It's when an esport gets old that the old guys are defending the status quos and finding edges. These guys are just happy to play, man. I freaking love that.
Yeah, I think there's times where it's detrimental for sure.
Cool.
Like the Halo space where they like basically blacklist every item so you can't have a meta evolve. That stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? Call of Duty, I think, does the same thing too, where they're like, oh, this game's unfair. And I'm like, no, it should be the developers that balance it. And like, you should exploit it to showcase that it needs help
Yep.
versus
The old-
the
the
other
old-
way where you
the
guys
old-
just gentleman agreement.
The Dendy puppy hook, man. It was in the game. It should be used. Also, shout out to Jovan Horta for bringing us a massive host over there. Massive raid. Thank you very much. Mostly because we love that you guys are watching and hanging out. This is Delta Force Community Tournament. It's the first time that we've done something like this with the Independent Observer, and it has been awesome to watch and be a part of. So I thank you for supporting, because I hope we keep doing this, because I think the players have enjoyed it. I know I have, and I hope you guys have as well as you watch at home. And I hope you keep enjoying it, because we got 3 more days. We're moving to Havoc tomorrow, and then we're back here for Ops the next day, and then the Grand Final will be back over to large-scale battles. And it's just going to be tons of Delta Force.
A lot to go. Again, echo the sentiments. Greatly appreciate you sending the crew over and doubling down on the event. Hopefully you guys had fun, and make sure you show some love to the competitors. That applies to everybody else. A lot of these players that you guys are seeing in the player list are streaming their POVs. You see a guy who made a cool play, like jumping through a window and trying to 1v3, maybe go give him a follow and be like, that was dumb, but I liked it. You never know. It can make their day.
Absolutely. Yes, it would. Also, I do want to give a shout out to the devs, the Discord. You guys can go join the official Discord community. I know for a fact that they read the Discord and the suggestion sections. I've seen them respond. So if you do have feedback, if you want to get involved, that's a great place to do it. Go get engaged over on their Discord and honestly help set the pace of the game. I mean, a perfect example of that is a lot of people were struggling because the gear has gotten so good after a couple of weeks of the game being out that places like Basic Zero Dam are becoming a little too thick for new players. The community had talked about it, and allegedly changes are coming that they're going to make it more accessible for casual players to get into those maps. So if you have feedback, if you have things that you want to see happen in the game, Discord is the place to do it. Go ahead and get involved. Look at that. He's just out here doing target practice. Love it.
You know what? Sometimes you just got to keep the hands warm, right? Like, peek out the window, take
Dude,
your
there
time.
is something to that to be 100% true.
By the way, the biggest thing that I recognized in this game that I totally didn't play with for the first few hours is like when you ADS, you can also hold to breathe. So your gun's like ridiculously accurate.
Tell me more.
I totally forgot. I totally forgot. Someone told me like when I first came in, and then like we were like halfway through Rivals, and people are like, "Oh yeah, are you doing that still?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
You mean holding your breath?
Yeah, because you can hold your breath when you ADS. Usually it's like only when you snipe, right? Like you snipe in, you hold your breath.
Oh, when you're hip fire. I see what you're saying.
Right. So like just doing that at all times, no matter what gun, whether it's like an M4 with like a 3x spray or anything like that, like
I see what you're saying.
hold your breath on all ADS. I totally space on that thing every time I play this game.
See,
It
that's
is
the
not
kind
in
of thing
my
I take for
muscle memory.
granted. I can respect that. It is. There's a lot to be said about muscle memory in these games, like or whatever game you're coming from and retraining things. I like how he just swap position with all the soldiers.
It's like, yeah, you guys
y'all
go
come
downstairs,
down
I'm gonna
here.
go upstairs.
Oh, that's pretty funny, actually. All
Little
right, so you're
switcheroo.
gonna go ahead, set this off. Oh, that's so cool. Honestly, the animations, the cutscenes, the missions in this game, like I still, anytime Wallbreaker is up or Iron Dome, like I have to do it. It's just so much fun to watch,
It's just bait, man. It's just bait.
right? Everybody goes and does it.
So,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what's happening in this right here.
chaos. They're fighting a war for at least 30
It's
seconds.
a war. There's not even a player around. They're
I
just
mean,
fighting the game,
If I heard that, I'm like, yeah, you guys can have it. I'm good.
right? Bro, the helicopter!
You just gotta be careful, man.
Oh no! You done pissed off the computer, man. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, imagine like you had one guy who went up top. He's like, yeah, let's swap with these NPCs, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay down here. I think he might be regretting that decision. It is. There's so many people.
He was just trying to get the helicopter down, I think. Just no options, man.
Well,
Oh
once
my
they
gosh.
eventually get out of this, the hope is that no other team has been enticed to come over,
Yeah.
and then they have all the loot in the world to pick from, and that can really boost the numbers. You're talking about the other team that's uncontested, so like they're sitting at 3.3 million in value right now, which is quite a bit,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
still not first.
Still not. Ouch. You gotta do them like that. Still
I'm
not
just reading numbers.
first.
I'm reading numbers. That's it.
I read numbers. I see 5.7. I push like. Oh no! He was unprepared. You were unprepared for how strong these NPCs are. That P90's getting a lot of love over here on Unity.
Yeah, I think for what they're playing in the extraction, I think it's a good in-between balance. Like, it's still got plenty of
Yes.
damage on it. The output for the TTK is incredible, so...
Here's where the helicopter makes their life miserable. Oh, they finally got it! They finally got it!
They've had it. This
Yeah,
is the
I know.
replay.
Everything's got cool animations. And then the helicopter stays, which is even cooler.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, the P90. And I think the reason it's a good pickup here that a lot of teams aren't talking about is ammo is limited, right? When you use the loadout tickets, you don't get huge stores of infinite ammunition, especially for things like this. So the P90 is a caliber that you might be able to get some refills on. Ooh,
Yeah.
Full safe action.
What did you get?
Horns. Whoa. Yeah.
Wow.
I was the observer. I was like, wow, he opened it up to show us. The observer knows. Flight recorder.
It's
I-
like 4
I
mils.
just
No
want,
big deal.
Lawler, I want to get to a point in this game where I open all those safes and see those items that were sitting there and don't pick them up because I have too much cool stuff. That is not the game that I play. Okay.
I'm going to say this as kindly as possible, nor will it ever be, my guy. There is
ain't that
no
the
way.
truth?
I know you've got too much stuff at the homestead. I know you're traveling a lot for work. I don't know if you have that type of time.
I have the time. I have the time. No, I don't. I will. Honestly, it comes down to one of those things. Like, this is one of those games where once you get a squad together, once you get a group, it's I think why I like Extractions the most, Adam, is for guys like me especially. Like, you brought up all the things that we do. I have time to play by myself when my friends don't have time, right? Because we have a weird schedule. But also, I get 2 or 3 hours that I get to play with the squad, right? And I love Extraction because it's a game where you basically play when you're alone to be ready to play when you're not alone. Does that make sense? And I think it's a lot of fun. Oh, here we go. Big time. Fight time.
Tough one there for Void. Get knocked down. Again, this is the #1 team in Tropa.
Yep.
So need to be careful. They should be able to get that revive. No issues. And ironically enough, look who they're fighting. #2 in Merc. This is kind of make or break.
Yep. Big chance here for both these teams. They know they both got those knocks, so they should know who they're up against at this point. Which means that they are discussing, do we do this or do we walk away? I mean, honestly, if I'm in second, I don't know if I want to.
I think the difficulty too is like, obviously they don't know how much loot is on the other team, but the assumption has to be, okay, they are our direct competition, so we can either risk it all and basically guarantee our spot, or do we let it come down to the wire and we out environment them, out PvE them in this game? What do you want to do? And you got to make that decision quick.
I have recently, oh, nice spray, entered the world of boxing, and one of the biggest lessons that we learn is you just never leave it up to the judges. You never let someone else make that decision. You go into the final round, you take the fight. You know what I mean? And I think that maybe that's the play. Is if you're like, we go in here, we wipe them, we take their stuff, and we guarantee the win. You got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's like I don't want to leave it up to the judges either. I want to be able to say I tried everything that was within my power to directly influence this match. And sure, the PvE, maybe you have, loot and stuff, but like I can't rely on that. What I can rely on is my abilities to click heads. So yeah, I think the difficulty is obviously you got to be still opportunistic. You got to make sure that the peak makes sense. You're not going to rush in there and just and do something simple as another trade goes down. Unfortunately for them, Curry, I think that was, Curry went down. So you've got Schmikey underneath. Can they find a way? Again, if they can pick him up and back into the action. Smoking it out. Good vision on the counter.
I love that smoke.
Oh, they're going to push through too.
Oh, that's a wall.
Too good of a smoke.
Yeah. when the smoke's
angle.
too good, you
Please
don't know
hold
where
that
you
angle.
are. He's got it. He hears them. He knows exactly what they're doing.
ADS, brother. ADS, brother.
Schmikey.
Oh, just give it to us, guys.
Why? Moving like a bunch of 4th graders at the end of the day.
Just go down the stairs, bro. I promise it's safe.
Go.
You can do it.
Adderall's worn out.
No. It's like the scary movies where it's like the kid with the flashlight. You give it to him. It's like, you go, buddy. You go first into the spooky basement.
Yeah, but imagine
there's
it,
any
you get to tell
monsters.
you get to be the hero, man.
I don't want to be the hero, and the other guy on the other side is holding.
That's. I mean, he's got that 3x2. This is a great piece
Yeah.
to be using here. Has the arrows. It's a great setup. He's got a vector in his pocket with no ammo.
He's just got to pick the right time because what happens? Okay, he's gonna swap to the arrow, and that's when they peek. That's how
Yep.
it works.
Every time. Here we go. Here we go. He's getting anxious. He's getting anxious.
No, just hold that angle. You were good. Just use. Again, peeker's advantage down here makes sense. I don't think there's ever a reason for you to push down those stairs. Like if I'm robot, I'm.
Oh!
What a flank!
Who's this?
Now does he push down? No, they came from upstairs. Oh, that's so aggressive.
Run! Oh gosh! Oh, Luna, you beast! Oh, bad grenade.
Oh, wait. All right, I take it back, Schmikey. Retreat. It's not your time, bro.
Mickey.
If I throw that grenade, it hits ceiling. I'm like, never mind. I'm not confident.
Yep,
in my
I'm
fighting.
done now. I gotta go. All right, so Yoshin, that's Tropa de Miguero here at the top for the record.
Such a good flare. Okay, so they've got information. He knows exactly where all three of them are.
That's the bounce you want, Mikey.
There you go. How bad does it connect? It doesn't.
Force them down the stairs. Oh, the jump attack! Dude, he jumped over those bullets. That was
What a
like
push,
reverse.
too.
He like reverse neo'd that.
So again, initial fight. Again, the grenades are the right idea, right? He gets the flare for the information. He puts the grenades down and the choke points, but they understand it's like we either back up or we engage. In that case, when someone's throwing nades and stuff and using their tact, push every time you're going to catch them off guard. Even more so if you're jumping over bullets.
I think also after that backstab attempt, they realized it was down to 1 at that hold position, right? And so then it's just over. Like the electric arrow is great, but with 3, you can just overwhelm that.
Yep. Unfortunately, his I think that electric arrow hit the wall instead of like the stairs or anything, so it's not like you're getting initial damage in. So yeah, it's tough, man.
He needed the freeze, is what he needed.
So it's just brawlers left, 1v3.
Yep. But if he could live up to his name, dead. Trying to sneak down to get his buddy.
So they're looting his teammate. Checking stairs.
10 minutes left.
They're not walking, so he can hear that. Oh, here we go.
No, you gotta get that first knock, bruv.
Unlucky, man.
Yeah,
That's
brawler.
tough.
Like, Voice didn't even turn around. He just kept looting. He wasn't even that worried. All right, let's jump over to Unity and Grota going head to head. Look at that sexy smoke.
Middle of the battle, low health. Gonna chase it down. Just needs to get a tag on the backside. Chasing him down too. It's a little bit of cat and mouse here. Bob and weave.
Oh no, he
Holds the
lost the
angle.
cat. He's no longer the cat.
Check her there. Oh, there you go. Disengage, reposition.
Yep.
Love that. Or run away. That's also an interesting strategy.
Yeah. Hopefully he maybe do the run and return.
Yeah. Two sides to run and gun, run and hide.
Yep. They had a TV show like that in Korea. 100 people playing hide and seek. It was incredible.
What?
Yeah. They like released 100 people onto like this big like imagine going to like a Disney World or a King's Island.
You're just watching Squid Games? Is that what you're doing?
No, it wasn't. It was before that. It was called Tag. And they put 100 people and said, go hide. In 20 minutes, we're going to have like people come out and chase you. And they just had like a bunch of guys they called agents in suits go out and try to find everyone. And the last person hiding got the money. It was actually pretty awesome.
Sounds
For like
fun.
12 minutes.
I saw like a video where they like the Japanese like recreated Squid Games, but they like made them wear like squeaky shoes when they went over the like platforms and stuff. When the like the red light green light turned around, if they made noise, they could hear them. Like, it was ridiculous.
It does sound ridiculous. We really missed the point of that show.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. I don't know if you've ever watched. Like,
speaking of brutal violence, let's check in with Unity as they continue to push around this corner.
well, they had who was this?
4.1.
Yeah, they had one disengage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like reconvening. So looks like they were able to get out. Nobody injured in the fight completely.
Now,
Armor's relatively good.
Here
So,
we go.
oh, okay. So it was Unity and GRT. So Grota was the one in that initial fight. That's why.
And Grota had the 6.1 million. So
I
thought that really just-
because one's still up, isn't it?
Well, the team with 6.1 had somebody die when that person got knocked. So unless it was I think Grota had one person just take off running.
I mean,
On the other hand, the top team with 6.1, that means they had 2 people extract, right? The little running man symbol.
yes. So I think they
Okay.
got out with money,
So
and
that's
now
not
they're just
Grota.
playing defense.
Yep. They're probably delaying their second place challenger from getting out.
Right.
You sent one person back to be a jerk.
Yep.
Now that's the job I'd want, right? Like
yeah,
if
me
we
too.
ever went pro, I'd be like, okay, you get to be the guy who leads with the money. I want to go back and not matter if I die.
Do we? Who was it? So when we played in Rivals, we had.
Yeah.
Do you know Madness from Apex?
No.
So Madness plays for Furia
Okay.
and is like top fragger. Like in our lobbies
Nice.
of like pro players that play this like Delta Force full time, he still
Yeah.
was top leaderboard frag with like 90 some kills in like
Nice.
a 10-minute match.
Wow.
That's the guy that I'm like, hey man, go peek every corner. I trust. Like just go.
Yep.
Like, you
Well,
have
and
no
that's-
rules.
I look forward to one day if we do these tournaments live where I get to like talk to the players before the game, because that's the question I'll answer is like,
Yeah.
who do you send back? Who's the guy that you leave to do the 1v3?
Dude, there's some people out there that it's like back against the wall. It's just like it's like your like the more well known like your shrouds that are just like,
Yeah.
dude, I trust you to frag out. I don't care what game it is. I know you're insane when it comes to FPS. Twitch shot, you got this.
All right, come on, MDK. MDK looking to play that. He was sent
Dude,
back to
be a
cause
hero.
trouble.
Be a hero. By hero I mean spoiler boy.
Oh, I'm really back down.
Hold your toes. Hold your toes.
Oh, did you leave your little toesies out? Did you see that hold on the left side? That's dirty. Robot, you dirty boy.
We saw in Europe earlier too where they set up like what a shot. Oh, he's flexing now.
No.
No way.
What?
No way did he third party the third party?
You can't third party a third party. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Oh my gosh. To be a spoiler and just play defense and then come out with it with actually like
Yep.
oh, that's huge.
Can you imagine the Discord right now? I did it, boys. Hey, I'm gonna get out with another 3 million.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's crazy too because if you're like Robot and those guys, they're just like,
Yep.
wait, what? What? Okay, we got to be
Right.
careful. It's like, sure, go for this revive, or is it safe to? Because
Right,
we don't
like,
know if it's a full
what's-
3 or what's going on.
Robot was hyped about that hold he had worked out.
Yeah.
He was gonna get someone for sure. Man, and then he just runs away. He's like, oh no, look at you.
The epitome of that the Super Troopers. I'm doing my part. Like,
Yeah, Starship Troopers. Yeah, Super Troopers was mustache.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Starship Troopers was I'm doing my part. Death
Yeah.
from above. Gosh, we're doing it again. That was a great
Oh
film. though.
man. Oh dude. The
I like
memes
to,
that
I like
came
to
out.
believe I like to believe they stole all their source material from StarCraft. I don't know if I'm in trouble. I get in trouble from saying that copyright wise, but it definitely feels that way. Like, do you ever watch that movie and just think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the Zerg, right?
Oh yeah,
Obviously.
100%. What do you
They
mean?
called the military guys the Marines.
In fact, that's the first game I went pro in.
StarCraft.
I was a StarCraft Brood War pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Showing my age real quick.
hey, I've never gone pro. Back when I was the right age to be pro, we just played for a 6-pack because there was no esports. I am old. I don't think you're that old.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You strike me as a 30s type of person. Good for you.
Wait, are we talking high or low 30s? I might be offended here.
I would say like mid. I would give you mid 30s.
Just call me mid. On broadcast in front of
34.7.
all these people.
I did call you mid. It's a StarCraft pro. You got big brain, quick fingers, bad aim.
Didn't need aim. They do it for you. It was the best.
That's what I'm saying. All brain, no
A
aim.
left click, bro. That's it. A left click.
It's the opposite of Sexy Pig. He was all aim, no brain. You know what I'm saying? Look at this loot. This guy.
God, I can't believe he got to, like, after his teammates get out scot-free,
This is
6.1
obscene.
mil, he comes in, he's like, all right, I can make, and now he's got another 2.4. Jesus. He's not done yet.
Thank you, Peaceful Mind. Peaceful Mind's providing us time context for our StarCraft conversation. All right, so now they're up to 7.7 million, and wild. 2x2 safe box. Hey, if you guys are new to the game, there is a promotional safe box you can get off of the members, like the early rewards. That gets you a 4x4. You should do it. Just cash it in.
Also,
Trust me.
big recommend for everybody watching. If you guys link your accounts, drops are on. A lot of them going out. Easy way to give yourself a little boost as you go into the free-to-play game.
Yep, and skins. And honestly, that's my favorite kind of drops is skins because gear is fleeting, but skins are forever. Welcome back. That's the end of day 1 of operations. We still have some interviews and some scoreboards and all that fun stuff. And then we come back tomorrow for large-scale warfare, which is going to be pretty entertaining as well. I'm excited. I think you're going to take the lead on that one, Adam, so we can kind of chill. I can sit back and enjoy watching what you guys seem to specialize in. But it sounds like, I think, interview ready with Void from Chope de Miguero. Hey, welcome, Void. How are you doing after 4 crazy games? You feeling okay?
Well, feeling great. Games are fun. Pretty fun.
They are. Which map did you enjoy playing more, Space City or Breckish?
Oh, mostly Space City, for sure. Space City was... I like the way the map lays out. It's just a good map to play on. Luckily, we didn't have any boss and spawns in the map, which was helpful.
From
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, from your perspective coming in, Void, obviously there's only so much you can plan for in these types of tournaments, right? Like there is the understanding of how to play the game, how extractions work, all that kind of stuff. But this is the first time truly in a private lobby with other players of the same caliber and kind of a clean slate. Like you don't have your pre-existing loadouts. It's different. From your perspective so far, how have things been in kind of that adjustment phase of taking what you're being provided, but then also having to capitalize from round to round?
It was, I mean, taking what you're being provided and having to capitalize from round to round. All right. I mean, it was tough. It don't have much room to play with, having limited choices on how to approach fights. Right. I tried playing with the sniper rifle, so I could try to get openings in those lower fights, right? Oh god.
Oh, you got a ghost in your house, bro. You okay?
Dude, it's late at night. Well, hopefully nothing happens. But I mean, it gives us a different perspective from what we usually play, right? Because we already when you have your own account and you have everything ready and set, you already know kind of how the game will play out. But then when you have to play around, like what, as I said, what you're provided there, and it not being what you're used to play, it brings out a different feeling and even excitement, if I could say, to the game. It's amazing. I like it.
Do you think that this is a new level of skill test for you guys compared to what you see in the public lobbies, or does it feel roughly sort of the same level of competition?
No, it's a new level for sure. It's a new level for sure. I mean, if you go public lobbies, even if you get a team that is stacked and has good gear, you still have like guns which are built to be like lasers and don't have any recoil, so it's easy to play with. You know how you're used to that. And then with the tickets, it's not like they're bad. Some of them are really good, but they still prove different, and some aren't just that great compared to gun. Like You can compare a 400 total value ticket to a gun that alone costs like 700k
Yeah.
to build. So yeah, it's a new skill test for sure.
That's awesome.
So first exposure to the environment. Obviously, you guys have a couple days. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be totally different. It's more of a pretty standard approach to how we play an FPS. But when do you guys come back in 2 days from now for the finals? Because it does, from what I've heard and from all the math and stuff behind the scenes, you guys are locked in, ready to go. So what kind of adjustments or what kind of things are you guys going to be talking about within your team to get ready for the grand finals? Because you're not just playing players who are good, you're now playing the best of every single individual group.
Yep.
So the competition's only going to get higher.
Yeah, it will be tough, but at the same time, it will be a challenge that we would love to take. We will love to take, because we'll take the best of the best there and see who comes out on top. And it's the most amazing feeling to be a part of it. And of course, we'll have to polish our play style, the way we do. But I think we did great. Of course, there's things we will need to work on and things that we'll have to try out, right, in these days until the finals. But we're in good shape, and I think we'll do good, for sure.
Nice.
Always
All right,
room to improve,
chance
but
for-
yeah.
There's always room to improve, but that's a champion's mentality, right? You always have a space to get better. Anything you want to say to your fans? Shout out, maybe plug your stream or anything you want for your squad. Now's your chance if you want to say a few words.
Well, valeu aí. I'm going to say it in Portuguese for my Brazilian and for everyone in Latin America. So, muito obrigado a todo mundo que torce, que tá aí com a gente. Valeu. Vamos tentar ver e tentar levar isso aí para casa, trazer aí para Latam aí, para América Latina. E thank you for everyone in the whole world that has been watching us and cheering for us and even just accompanying us with that. Thank you, Delta Force, for providing us such opportunity. And see you in the next games, I guess.
Awesome. One more before you go. For anyone out there who is
Sure.
just downloading Delta Force and getting into the game, can you give us a good beginner tip or something you would tell your best friend when they said, "Hey, bud, I just installed the game. What do I need to know to be the best?"
What do you need to know to be the best? Dude,
Yep.
you're going to have fun. And you're going to improve on that. Because the game is honestly amazing. And it's pretty fun to play. So go out, explore. Experience all the game has to offer. You won't regret it. And with time and effort, for sure you're going to be the best.
Ha! You have fun, you'll be the best. Whatever's going on with your electric, hopefully it works itself out. I'm glad it didn't cause a problem during the games. You guys dominated, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 days' time in the Operations Grand Final. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Void.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, I love that the theme keeps coming out from these players. When I'm like, what would you tell a new player? And their response is, you're going to have a good time. And I think that to me has been what... If you are an Extraction... I'm just going to speak candidly to Extraction fans out there for a second. Adam, you can go hide while we talk about the war zones tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. If you are an Extraction shooter aficionado, you probably have done things like bought games for friends trying to convince them to play, because having a squad in Extraction is such a big deal. I'm with you. I've been there. This is the first Extraction shooter that I have ever gotten in my life that A, I didn't have to purchase, which was lovely. But B, that everyone who installs it goes, oh my gosh, that was a ton of fun. Let's play another one. And I think that to me is really the biggest takeaway from what Delta Force has put together, is it's just a good time. Let's take a look at the good time from Group D results. Adam, I would say walk me through, but it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think it was pretty crazy at the tail end there. We did see a little bit of upsetty spaghetti at the very tail end. MDK finding a way to close one out, but the teams that we were keeping eyes on in Tropa, as well as Merc. Merc did get eliminated pretty early in that initial fight when they're going up against each other. Merc enough to hold on to that victory, so congrats to them. Another 3.6K in their bag, and it should be enough to keep them in the lead. So congratulations to them. We'll have the results of all the groups here in just a second, but I do want to put an emphasis here on Void. It is something to come into a tournament. Obviously, they're not paid actors. They are here to put up or shut up and compete. And I think the biggest takeaway I have from him is when it's like, hey man, you're facing a lot of challenges. It's different. It's new. And his basic sentiment of it is I welcome it. It excites me. It is awesome to be pushed and to be tested despite having thousands upon thousands of hours in a game, to have this new outlook. So this is basically my my soapbox of trying to say, hey, Delta Force, please keep it coming. You can tell these guys are invested, they love it, and they want to give everything they can to it. So like, you made a good product, and why not celebrate that? So we take a look at the standings here, Toffees. Group A to kick us off, it's Comeback Kids.
Comeback Kids. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the standings, and what matters most is who is number one. That's the team that will go to the grand final. So for Group A, your advancing team is the Comeback Kids. Too Easy, Devo, and Neuro split. Group B, Team Squidward walks away with a whopping $13 million in valuation. Vane, Howl, and Sing Song are going to come out with a big day for them. Mate and Factura had a good game. Bogavor had a good last match, but it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah,
let's talk about C.
At 22 kills, dude. 22 kills and top valuation. A team to definitely pay attention to going into that grand finals. As we jump over to Group C, we saw the hero plays from Cujo or Cujo. I don't know how to say it. I want to say Cujo, but I don't
like
think
the
that's
dog.
right. Yeah, but it is Karai and him working together to find a way to limit others as well as walk away with a little bit extra. Not that they needed it. Big buffer for them, able to close it out and do it strong.
But the juxtaposition versus Squidward, 4 kills and a massive valuation. Very different style of play. Gotta respect it goes both ways, and I look forward to seeing them go against each other in the final with how different they approach this game. Tropa de Migueru on Group D. We just talked to Void coming off of that team. 12 kills, good valuation. They seem like they're the middle ground between the two teams that we just talked about.
Yeah, I think they are going to be a team to definitely watch as potentially an underdog. While they may not have the most valuation, they have had a very competitive group. There has been some teams that aren't afraid to push, that are more than willing to play assertive and very, very aggressive on some of those approaches. So I do think they're going to be a team that, despite all that, great mental, very level-headed, going to come in very composed.
And now, I don't know if they had a rough group. I mean, I know Vibin, I know some of the players in this group, and I know that they're not pushovers. So, to be honest, seeing E-Zone come away with 19 million in cash and 20 kills, they ran the lobby, and that worries me for everyone else going into the grand final.
Yeah, I was looking at Group E, and there's a couple names when you were like talking, hey, do you recognize any of these? I'm like, I watched some of these guys' streams, and they're not bad.
Yeah,
so what is E-Zone on? Like, when you've got 3 players all coordinated with the tag at the beginning of the name, I think just a hunch here.
Yeah.
That means they mean business. Like, they are here to frag out and go crazy.
They are here. They are here to do business. They're here because they see a future and they want to show that they're the best. Now, that said, Comeback Kids with 31 kills and 17 million shows that they believe that they've got the fight and the loot to get these things won. So I'm excited to see which of these teams really put up. The top team from each of those 5 lobbies will be advancing to the grand final, where we will have 6 teams. So those 5 plus a mystery team that we're not going to talk about until the grand final will be joining them to play for the big prize, their share of the $8,000. Top killers, because remember, whoever has the most kills after the grand final does get a bonus. And right now it's going to be Revo that gets 13.
Yeah, looking pretty good. I don't think they made the grand final, so I don't know if it's separated or not. So yeah, right now Too Easy is at the top, but Vane only 1 behind. Again, we talked about this earlier in the show. Again, a lot to adjust to, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowingness, but it's still relatively even across the board. There's no standout individual, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. No standout, but there is a standout individual who gets away with money, and that is Lime.
Yeah, you shove it in his backpack and tell him to run away.
Run away! Lime's out of here. I mean, but again, like, that tells me that they fit that strategy, right? This Lime is coming from E-Zone, which we didn't get a chance to watch, and they did have that same strategy. Good kill count, huge valuation. It seems like they did that as well as anybody else did. They put cash on Lime, they sent Lime out, and they searched for more valuation as a 2, and that's a strategy that seems to have worked for so many of our teams. It's been an awesome event so far. I've enjoyed it. It does make me hope that maybe one day we'll see like an esports mode where you can queue with only elite tickets, because that would be super fun once in a while as a special event. The players do seem to really enjoy that. And I think it's a cool experience for everybody, as this event has been. So we're not done. We're back tomorrow with more action. 3 more days of this chaos. Myself and Adam will be here to walk you through all of it as we watch the players pull off incredible moments. Adam, any final thoughts before we sign out for the day?
Nah, man. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Europe as well. You guys will be holding it down. We get a whole bunch of action, so another 4 or 5 hours of competition. But this time it is going to be different game mode, a different strategy, different approach, but the same old us. So, no, it's been a lot of fun, man. I think day 1 went better than I ever could have expected. I think the game mode is absolutely fantastic. And to see that same sentiment be followed up by the players as well, couldn't ask for anything better.
Absolutely, guys. Let us know what you thought about it. We want to hear more. You can tweet at Delta Force. Let them know if you had fun watching. We'd love to hear from you. I also want to remind you that you can head over to Steam and download the game right now, as well as join the official Discord community to find yourself squads, as well as ask questions and give feedback. Also, there's a big patch coming up later this month in January with changes to the game, new maps, a new single-player mode based on the movie Black Hawk Down, if I remember correctly, which was a great film, and the original game. So good. You're going to love it, and it doesn't cost you anything. How can you say no? So go check it out. Thank you for spending your evening with us. We got more to come, but we know that, hey, your time is valuable, and the fact that you hung out with us here means the world to everyone. From myself, on behalf of Adam, our production team, the Delta Force team, and all the players, we love you. We appreciate you, and until we see you next time, play more Delta Force, y'all.